Dance for Super. The Dragons teach us that if we want to climb high, we must do it against the wind.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day here of the APAC edition of the Overwatch League. It's time to kick off the Kickoff Clash here in Asia. I'm Achilleos, joined by Avril. We'll be holding down the fort the whole weekend long, bringing you guys the games. We are the warlords of APAC. We get to just sit back, talk about the matches, and watch as these teams battle for our entertainment. Starting things off, we have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the Hangzhou Spark, #1 seed, selecting their opponent that they recently defeated in a map 5.
Yeah, Seth, I'm going to be sitting on that Empress chair, not going to lie, with the thumbs up and the thumbs down going on, depending on how I like the games today. But the whole way through, it's going to be us the entire way through all of the Kickoff Clash here in the East, our top 4 teams from the APAC division. And oh my goodness, we had such great games in our final week, right? Very close series, Shanghai 3-1 versus Seoul, Hangzhou Spark 3-2 versus Fusion, and we get the exact same matchups again with the Hangzhou Spark choosing the Philadelphia Fusion. So, I mean, we just get to run back our entire last week.
Yeah, these teams, as far as prep, it should be somewhat straightforward for them because they say, okay, where did things go wrong in our last series? Let's do better in that regard. So we'll see who has made the most improvements and whether or not our #4 seed can best the #1, if our #3 can best the #2. We're going to find out here today and set the stage for that upper final. So we'll see what happens here with this lineup, with these 4 teams that are going to be battling across the next 3 days to be crowned the first champions in 2022. Starting things off, though, of course, it is the Hangzhou Spark versus the Philadelphia Fusion. And Fusion, they certainly had their work cut out for them last time, Avril. You and I didn't get to cast this series, but we were sitting back watching with bated breath. This one went down to the wire.
I think it was kind of the comeback game for Fusion in a way, right? They just beat the Valiant in their final game of this first stage. They had to go up against Hangzhou Spark, and they looked pretty good. They looked very solid, much better than the early performances when they got rolled by Seoul. Right, you also had performances where Fusion honestly looked shaky versus Chengdu. They lost that match as well. But now coming against Hangzhou Spark, who I deem to be one of the best teams in this particular region, Fusion played well. Look, they didn't win. It came down to the wire. Some mistakes were definitely shown. Let's not say that Fusion played anywhere near perfect, but they're on the right trajectory. But a team that's kind of leading the pack, currently the team that is definitely in the lead, our #1 seed coming through from APAC, 5-1 record, our highest map differential as well on +8. That's 4 maps better than Shanghai in the 2nd seed, is the Hangzhou Spark. And Alpha Yi, I think, leading the way for this team as well as the spearhead of this roster.
Yeah, he very much has, but I mean, everybody around him has been performing incredibly. I mean, Guangzhou, only a few map wins for him. It took a while to finally get that locked in, but has been looking better as of late. Whether it's him, whether it's Bernard, it doesn't really matter. The Hangzhou Spark are a very great, cohesive unit squad that can, tap into that hive mind that we talk about often in relation to the Shanghai Dragons. There's times where it looks like everybody is very much on the same wavelength here for this squad as well, which is amazing to see because you do have that slight little mixed language roster going on here with the Koreans and the Chinese. So it's good to see that they have kind of fleshed this out. It's been a long time coming for the side of the Spark to get to this point where it looks like the roster is workable, can dominate the region. And right now, it seems like this could be their time.
And they have a head start in terms of being a mixed roster as well, right? Because everybody on this team has got experience playing on a mixed roster previously, including the members coming through from last year's Hangzhou Spark, but also the new Billy guys as well. Super Rich has had a long history playing on mixed rosters going back to CC. He even speaks reasonable Korean to get along and to be able to communicate as well. So things look good as far as the coordination of this roster. But Achilles, we're about to get into this game now, and just before we do, though, I do have to mention, as a reminder, the maps are chosen by the teams. Hangzhou Spark have opted for Oasis as the opening map of the series. The loser will be choosing every subsequent map. Control is Hangzhou Spark's best map. Type against Philadelphia Fusion, 83% win rate, 5-1 all time. They start with Guangzhou as well. I think this is part of Sparks wanting to force Bellisria in the lineup for the Fusion. Bellisria is the less experienced player compared to Fury. The more that Spark can force Bellisria into this lineup for the Fusion, probably the better it is for the Spark. Achilles, Kickoff Clash though, map number 1 starts now.
That it does. Here we go, city center of Oasis to get things started out the gate. Looks like we're going to be having a bit of a mirrored matchup here between the two squads. That's going to be hitting the jump pad first. A little bit of damage there on the fix-up. Will be okay though, can survive. And Shy just looks to hold it in the low ground for now. Jump up over the top. Gets good damage down to Bellisria. Almost takes him out, but looks like they will be able to push away from each other relatively safely now from the side of the Fusion. Wrap back around the opposite side of the point as they get ready for this to unlock.
Here comes a jump from Bellisria as well. You do notice that Spark is first to the mark in terms of holding that high ground. Point unlocks though, so as the Fusion drops down, the Spark have to come back in as well.
Oh, Carpe with a nice Helix Rocket will find Guangzhou, but he gets traded out. Alpha Yi picking that up, making it a 1-for-1, but the front line now broken down on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. We'll see if that's enough for the Fusion to try to get this cap coming through. Anti out onto Bellisria. Looks like he's being kept alive for now, but then they get him with a sleep dart. Nice little lineup there from Iron. He gives his life to get that kill. Another little trade coming through, but with Fixa on top, it seems like Hangzhou Spark should be set to gain control of the point first and foremost. Recall going to be coming through here from Alpha Yi, keeping himself alive, building up towards that pulse bomb where Zest is just narrowly outpacing him. 6% the difference for now, but just looking for picks, looking to try to open the point. So far hasn't happened. Last second contest now coming through from Bellisria. Yep, that's going to be the jump into the back line now, though, from Guangzhou. The attack visor rolling from Shy. He's got this bubble to keep him protected for a little bit longer. Since the Helix rockets in, gets some damage there onto Carpe. The Nano now going to be used to try to keep Carpe alive, but Aim God gives his life to use the ultimate. Bellisria has now gone down. Carpe and Zest, though, carrying their weight up over the top. Managed to find Irony. Super Rich falling moments before that. Now, with no supports in the fight, it could be a quick flip here for the Fusion.
Multiple kills coming through from Carpe as well, so that Nano is certainly doing work. I mean, definitely was a desperation Nano from Aim God. It seemed like it could have been used into a lost cause as well, but Carpe holds on, defeats Shy, used that Nano to get a bunch of damage in, and it looked like Hangzhou Spark, despite having the initial cap, taking the advantage in the fight, getting a lot of members of the Fusion down, could not kill Carpe, and now he's got his own visor. Shy actually led the visor battle by more than 50% at one point, and now he's going to open to pick on Zest as well, but Carpe also did die in that first fight, so that's why he was so far behind.
Good elimination. Sound barrier now going to be used. Just everybody else on the team here for the side of the Fusion. Super Rich just getting ready to build his up. And Bellisria, he didn't receive that, I don't think, or maybe they melted the shield off him so very quickly, but he ends up dying. So this sound barrier drop not going to pay off at all for the side of the Fusion.
And beyond that as well, Super Rich and Irony have saved their ultimate, so now you have the support advantage going forward for the Hangzhou Spark. Still have the visor available for Carpe. This Fusion lead very briefly. That number on the point will be equalized in just a few moments. The ultimate advantage is definitely in the way of the Hangzhou Spark, and they're also holding up very close as well.
Yeah, and they're just diving all the way into the back towards the spawn room here of the Fusion. Put quite a bit of damage down onto Aim God. Cannot confirm the kill, though. Guangzhou going to be making his exit as the Nano comes out. Helps keep him alive. Helps get him back to safety. Spark for now in the lead at 50%. And there we go. I didn't have audio this entire time, and I finally fixed it.
And Shy's caught up again, so now he's about to get a second visor. Carpe still on his first. When Carpe pops this one, there will be a sound barrier in response from Super Rich. That's if this stick doesn't actually land off. He barely misses that one. Carpe sidesteps.
And that he does, I think inadvertently so. Didn't necessarily know that the Tracer was behind him, but he just not quite predicting the movements there of the Soldier 76. Pretty difficult at times. For now, though, Fusion trying to retake the point for themselves. Tac Visor is going to be opened up by Shy. Carpe going on a bit of a flank, but he dives right into the middle of the team. They get the ante down onto him. A sleep dart connects, but then Shy just goes charging forward. Manages to find the elimination, but the rest of the team are doing work here for the Fusion. Fixa coming up with two as Irony and Shy both fall. Guangzhou now out of the fight, and it's just Alpha E left to try and delay as long as possible, but he does not last long enough. The flip will come through prior to 99% here, but Fusion still have a hell of a lot of work cut out for them if they want to win this round.
What a tricky situation for the Fusion. I mean, they lose Carpe almost immediately. They pull the trigger second. Shy's popped his second visor. Carpe was still waiting for the response. He goes for the nano visor, but naded straight away. And if it wasn't for the rest of the squad, Fixer and Zest getting those kills, could have looked really bad for the Fusion. Still a 91% lead here for the Hangzhou Spark. Looking for that one-and-done fight at some stage. So they can keep Shy alive and survive against Spy on the Irony. That could be okay. Zest will take down Shy, and that's going to force the reset.
He almost recalled back into that, but the pulse bomb went off just before the recall had finished, it looked like. For a second, though, he was going to be getting taken out of the fight. Dive into the back line now, though. Good anti out from Aim God. Clips both of the supports. They managed to pick up one. Gushwei falling low. Doesn't want to pop the primal here, of course. So, yeah, good staggers coming in here for the side of the Philly Fusion as they continue to chase up, but the DPS ult still a ways away. Alfie nearly with a pulse bomb could open things.
They're buying time, though, and that's the thing for the Fusion, is they were behind in terms of percentage cap, but they're about to hit 91 themselves. This is awful for the Hangzhou Spark. They need to actually initiate onto the point itself. You might have to see Gushwei just pop Primal and touch.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and pop it. Melisriat now doing the same, looking for a target to try to gatekeep away from the point. Dives into the back, spots the Soldier 76, sees the Tracer on the flank. He's not going to be able to really get on top of anybody, at least for now, but Gushwei has been finished off. Carpe coming up with that elimination now. Shy going to be out of the fight. The pull bump from Alpha E yet again is not going to find any value whatsoever. Super Rich is jumping away from the point, will get hounded down, and that should basically be it, as Alpha E will be finished off. Decent comeback here from the side of the Fusion. Narrow margins to make it work, but they get there in the end. 191% as they take City Center.
I mean, that's brilliant because you see Fusion in such precarious situations. I go back to the Carpe moment, nearly dies, has the nano to save him, and then he actually cleans up a fight that was very early on. I believe that was even kind of the first/second kind of fight. They're both those fights melded together. Another situation where Carpe as a nano visor dies immediately, but then Zest and Fixer still save the day. Hangzhou Spark in their winning moments, they go to push towards Spawn. They nano Gushwei, but collect no kills. They can't quite get these staggers in there. They can't quite slow down the Fusion, and they end up having to back up. You look at the flip side, Fusion go to kind of pseudo spawn cap the Hangzhou Spark. They get 2 kills in a row. They kill Gushwei as well. They really slow down the respawns. Yes, Hangzhou Spark are like 30% ahead in terms of cap, but they lose that entire advantage by just having to reset, wait for respawns. Gushwei has to primal just to touch the point. He's isolated, and he dies immediately.
Oh, here comes the contest for the high.
That's a boop. Hello?
Oh my god! I mean, had already used the leap pulse, can't get back up. What a boop from Super Rich! Was that a loss from words as I witnessed that happening? I was waiting for the Winston to appear yet again, but no, he didn't have the leap. He just disappeared into the ether. A major first pick to assert dominance on the high ground. A great play from Super Rich as they open up the point now. It's going to be unlocked. Let's see if the Hangzhou Spark can just go ahead and take this. Belisria has, of course, rejoined the fight, but that initial pick puts him so far behind Gushwei. Good opening kill, though. Belisria looking to make up for lost time. Gets on top of Super Rich, gets that elimination, gets that vengeance. Now Zest taken out by Shy. Good to Helix Rockets in, but it will be a trade on the Genjis. So blow for blow so far. Fusion still fighting back. Shy gets dove on. Protections there from Gushwei, dropping the bubbles, trying to keep this Soldier 76 alive. The point will be taken first by the Fusion.
Yeah, that's the 5v4 advantage. They're Shy on critical HP. He went down to as low as 11, I believe that it saw. Belisria as well has spent most of that fight being quite low. Now, the good part for the Fusion is despite losing Belisria early, they never lost control of the cap, so they actually still managed to get Belisria back, fight for first cap control, and actually get that first cap. Ooh. And first nano available for Aim God now.
Yep, does have that. Alpha E falling low, needs to get topped up, still going to be below half HP. Gushwei as well taking a beating. Plenty of healing here for the duo on the side of the Spark. The duo, sound barrier first out from Fixa, and 2 instant kills come in as the DPS say goodbye, good night on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Gushwei making his exit as Super Rich. He's still doing Super Rich things, comes up with yet another kill, but now is left all on his lonesome, contained in the side room. Just a matter of time before he gets finished off.
And it's kind of interesting that Fixer is the one to use the ultimate and not Aim God in that situation as well. So they make the tempo beat play instead of the what would have been a dry nano. That means they're going to have to go for a nano play this time around instead of being able to play defensively. Fusion will be forced to play offensively. This has to be some sort of nano visor or even a dry one to Zest. Nano visor will probably be recommended here. There's a lot to match on the other end. Hangzhou Spark, they might have lost the fight. They're 60% behind, but they are, in terms of ultimates, definitely ahead.
God, just healing through this chip damage out from Gushwei. Now turns the sights over to Zest. Nano at the available, could be the visor, could be the blade. Belisria going to open things up first with a primal. Fixa going to be taken down though. Shy with his tac visor manages to find the enemy Lucio. Carpe pops his own. He's looking for a target. Will get Super Rich moments before he can breach around the corner and keep himself alive. Fighting back though are the support duo on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, albeit only for a moment. They end up getting dropped, and Fusion will hold the point.
It's the kind of situation where it's difficult for Fusion to win right there. One ultimate behind, Zest also falls early. So now point control should be going back the way of Hangzhou Spark, but they're having a bit of trouble capping. They actually haven't committed the cap just yet, which means Fusion still have control at 99%. They can still play this one. They are. Zest goes in.
Alpha now trying to match. Deflection going to be used by Zest, and he is just at a sliver of HP, but the Focus Fire comes in. They will end up being traded in the end as both Soldier 76s take down the opposing Genjis. Carpe pulling around the corner. Hangzhou Spark fighting for the flip that they desperately need. Bionate out, one of both supports. That's going to be a big opener for them, but Carpe now finds Shy. Alpha only just now respawning. They can see the point for now as the flip does come in. Hangzhou Spark gaining control, if not for a moment.
And fully out of ultimates now for both sides. Fusion wasting no time, though, actually giving a bit of a chase to Alpha E. They'll get him. Alpha E completely caught out. That's going to be the 5v4. I mean, that could be the map.
It very well could be. There's the flip yet again. Now into overtime once more we go. Gushue still going to be low. Steadily tick him back up. Irony trying to build that nano boost up here as quickly as possible. Imgod not too much further behind, but crucially fix it with the sound barrier. That's going to be available here in just 10%. Gushue falls low. They yet again need to touch the point. Someone's got to work their way through. Seems like somebody has, but now Super Edge going to be taken down, but it's in an exchange. Imgod and Zest both gone. Carpe eliminated, and it seems like off the back of this nano, they might just be able to make this happen. Gushue getting closer and closer, perfectly tied just about here towards that primal rage. As we see Bellisria and Fixa desperately trying to buy some time here on the point, but Fixa, I don't know if he's going to be willing to commit the beat here. He's going to go low. No, he will go ahead and drop it. It's going to be for him and the Winston. Now they look to just try to displace Gushue, but they need their DPS to come back in to try to break down this Scientist. Primal's going to be coming through. Bellisria falling low, pops his as well. As they go leaping across the point, Bellisria into the back line, juggling onto Irony, trying to get the elimination, and no one is on the point in this last moment. Alpha, you cannot touch in time. The Fusion will take the first map of Oasis 2-0.
And great pressure on the side towards the end there as well, at 99%. He was one being beaten, buffered away by Bellisria with the two primals going at the same time as well. And Philadelphia Fusion decided not to reset there. I mean, they could have probably reset, saved their double support ultimates, come back in and won anyway, but they had the confidence to say, no, we're just going to take it right now. We will not risk anything further. We're going to commit ultimates, even a two-man sound barrier from Fixa. Fixa, by the way, who randomly kills Alpha E almost solo. No idea how he gets that kill. That's actually an insane kill because it just slows down Alpha E further. 2 deaths in a row when nothing really happens for him. Comes back from the respawn, cannot touch in time like you sort of mentioned, and that's going to be the end of our first map. But a brilliant start for the Philadelphia Fusion, especially I got to say that City Center was so good in terms of how they recovered.
Yeah, really good stuff, but a little bit scary. We're going to Midtown next, and I remember Philly Fusion playing on this one from last week. They ended up doing a bit better the second time out of the map, but we'll see how they fare now on the third attempt. Hangzhou Spark, this will be their selection, and we'll see how they fare when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. The kickoff clash action continues in just a few. And welcome back. It's time to carry on with our first matchup here in the Kickoff Clash 8-pack edition. So far, the Philly Fusion able to take Oasis 2-0, start things off with the right foot forward, get that map win under their belt. Hangzhou Spark, though, now have map select. They have elected to go to Midtown to see if they tie up the series there.
And I think that was such a clean start for Fusion. I mean, despite being behind, it never really felt like they were outright. I mean, we've seen Fusion at their worst. We've seen them at their best. This is definitely closer to being their best and their worst so far. The fact that they were behind but still kept composure, kept the ability to come on in. Honestly, personally, very impressed with Fixer on that particular map as well. I have to highlight one of the key differences that I noticed on that Gardens map, and I'll address the substitutions in a second here as well, is that despite Super Rich getting the initial boop kill onto Bellisria, Fixer still kept up in ult charge, even though Super Rich had an entire Winston's HP pool of additional ult charge right from second number one. Not only that, but then Fixer and AimGod both got their support ultimates before ironing and Super Rich in that follow-up neutral. So really well played by this Fusion backline in terms of the supports. Now we talk a little bit about these substitutions as well. Obviously, MN3 coming in for the subsequent maps that are not Control. Bellisria staying in is very interesting to me because typically you would see Fury here, and you are seeing Bernard on the other side.
Yeah, we'll see what they have prepped for us here on the side of the Fusion. Well, I mean, going for the Winston, going to be a bit awkward. Maybe around second point, you can make that work a little bit better because you do have that underpass and whatnot to play around. Leap up between that and the high ground, but we'll have to see what they have as we do go into this. But yeah, Carpe stepping away. I mean, you know, he did a mild amount of feeding at the very beginning there, but he's the messiah for the Philadelphia Fusion. He is the one. He died for their wins. They got this first map win under their belt. Maybe he'll be reborn in map number 3. We'll just have to wait and see. For now, MN3 going to be coming out the gates, and for now is hovering on the Reaper, but we'll see where he lands as they are on the attack first.
Yeah, with Bellisria, unlikely to see the Reaper here. I mean, we've seen MN3 potentially snipe here. He's played the Ash. Soldier's obviously a really good pick. Alpha E on the defense for the Torb. Now, this is actually not even a troll pick because we've seen, I believe, a game where Alpha E played this map and actually brought out the Torb legitimately. So, in a way, to me, it's kind of like a less effective Reaper because you are playing anti-dive here. You're expecting, well, you know that Bellisria being in means Winston. You know Zest being in most likely means the Genji. You know they're going to dive into you. Torb does have a pretty positive matchup into that, but I think a lot less flexibility than the Reaper. So it is a risk for the Hangzhou Spark.
Okay, walking out the gates. Been to the tube.
Oh, it's a Ryan as well.
Okay, where are they going to TP? Okay, TP up onto the high ground inside of the fire department. Working across. Zest looking for a target. Will receive a sleek dart. So put on the ground for now. That'll slow up the Fusion for just a little bit of time. So far, the only casualty going to be the Torb turret.
I mean, this is shades of 2021 Fusion, right? Remember Melee? They played the most Brawl. I feel like I'm watching a bit of Mano at the moment with the rest of the old 2021 squad.
Oh,
they actually managed to get
this.
Shy. So really a TP play back and forth. Shy thought he had a positioning, but the TP back was still there.
Yeah, fantastically played here by the side of the Fusion. Let's see if they can capitalize off the back of this. Alpha E taking quite a bit of damage. And now that they have the point, they can get a nice little defensive setup going here for the Symmetra. TP onto the high ground as they go ahead and take the fight up towards Super Rich. Alpha E managing to fight too. Oh no, they have overstepped the pounds. Him got now, or Alpha E rather, into the back there, finds Fix Up. Cleans up the kills. I mean, he is on a tear. Is he just gonna 5-man? No, he doesn't. Okay, the Bionade will take it away from him, but damn, he nearly had all of the kills.
How does this man do it on every single hero? We've seen him basically do similar things on, obviously, the Genji, on the Reaper for sure, on the Tracer, and now also a Torb. Hello, this guy is just kind of running the gamut of all these different types of DPS currently. And the Torb seemingly working out, despite losing Shy. But that was a 4v5 situation that they actually recovered from.
Yeah, well, Alpha Yi, as he goes in his bout for Rookie of the Year, I think he's basically the equivalent of 3 people, it would seem. The guy's been putting up such significant numbers. See Zest just trying to really fortify this position. As they wait to drop down, they will go ahead. Make their way onto the point now, looking for the first tick. Bernard going to be the one that steps up. Continues to contest this, just jiggling around the corner. The Fire Strike not going to connect, goes into the light post there from the side of Bellisria. First tick has been snatched up. Nano Boost goes forward onto Bernard. Everybody backs away, not feeding him any extra energy, as it will dwindle down very rapidly. So they just wait this out. Good patient play from the side of the Fusion.
Okay. Should be window in the window here. Should be window for MN3. Out of the window. How many window sections can we get here? Here we go. Aim. Go drop it in for me.
First one comes through. There's the tack visors looking for a target. Bernard trying to play around that light post, denying line of sight. as best as he possibly can. Again, the turret going to be the only casualty thus far. Grab comes through, they've gotten the Molten Core, layered down right on top of him. The Immortality Field does not last very long at all. Fixa taken out, and actually don't even know where the Immortality Field was because it wasn't in position to try to save the Lucio's life. They end up cleaning him up. Now they're disconnected from each other. They get a little bit over that second tick established here on the point. They still need to break through, and they're running out of time. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. Belosria still has not gotten an Earth Shatter yet.
So this is the interesting part, right? Because now you have half the Fusion team kind of split off from the other half. If the Spark actually collapsed upstairs, maybe they could have cleaned them up, but they'll just allow the respect to come on through. Fusion have now successfully regrouped via TP. Shy gets a kill, though. That's a big shatter.
Okay, he does. He managed to find one that's going to be Aim God out of the fight. Now that Sound Barrier comes in from Fixa to try to take them over the finish line. Pushing forward, swinging through, looking for the elimination here onto Bernard. The bubble gets popped, and now Belosria, maybe he's overstepped. He's looking for the pin. Point blank, he cannot get it. Shy picking up 2, but the cap is there for the side of the Fusion, so they do get a second lease on life. Now they have those forward spawns. It's all about draining the time down here in the street space for the side of the Spark.
I think it was a big mistake for Spark not to at least collapse on one side of the map to try and stop the respawners from coming on through, at least prevent the TP, just splitting up the ability for Fusion to regroup, right? But it ends up being a free cap due to the, the Earth Shatter from Belosria preventing anyone from touching. They already had a tick or so to work through. And now we have the Symmetra ultimate to bring things in.
Okay, that's going to be the barrier going up. As they TP to the top, they are instantly greeted by a nice 3-man Bionade. That's going to force the Immortality Field out. Wrapping around the back, they're looking for a target here to try to get the cart moving forward yet again. Quite a bit of damage there onto Alpha Yi, but Zest unable to find the elimination. Cart continuing now to proceed down into the underpass, but Fixa gets picked off at the back end here by Bernard.
Still a bit of solo pushing happening to the bottom as well. Okay, yeah, he'll get out fine. It shouldn't be anything to stop him, to be honest with you. This is the sort of positioning now where you have to start considering, okay, how much further do we want to play this sort of Symmetra? Can we get more value on the TPs or not? They have to try and get pushes underway, and they need, I think at this point, I was going to say, something more like a May to get you through the underpass, because Zest on the Symmetra is probably not going to be a good enough job. Good for rotations for a, static point like A, but now that we're playing with a payload, you need something that can defend and play with your team more on a mobile sort of stance. So, May definitely the right call.
Alright, so the May comes through. Still stick with the Reinhardt, of course. As they go pushing forward, MN3 going to be antied out as his Aim God. He's just going to get tucked away. Hiding out in the underground here. As the window comes through, Bernard throws the grab, pushes the core to the right, clicks, and the Kenji just dive in. And they will rip them to shreds. They try to get themselves out to safety. They try to utilize the window, but the Spark did not allow it. A great team kill for them, as it's now 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining for the side of the Fusion.
It's a great grab. I mean, it entirely prevents the Fusion from using the window at all. That would have been the only real win condition coming through from the Fusion. They need to get some significant damage done via the window, and the grab completely denies that. We also have Aim God, by the way, now moving over towards the Ana. We start to head towards the end, finding that the BAP is not providing as much value. I think the lamps are starting to, really be counter value almost. They just don't really give you enough. The windows are being countered as well. We have a shatter to play through. Should be somewhat difficult to stop the shatter depending on where the bubbles are. At the same time though, Alpha Yi's just going to go in.
Yep, he finds Aim God, no sleep start to connect, so Alpha Yi just goes ahead and he takes a mighty chunk out of the side of the Fusion. Another team kill, back to back, just 40 seconds later. Now it is 27 seconds remaining for the side of the Fusion. A shatter near to a sound barrier, the Blizzard's still a ways away. Can they make this work versus the beat and the visor?
Here's the thing though, Super Rich does have a beat like you sort of mentioned here, so when the shatter comes down, as long as Super Rich is not caught by that, they should be fine. The other problem here for Belosria is, how are you going to land a shatter when most of the Hangzhou Spark are actually playing on high ground? You want to be pushing the payload into the underpass, forcing the Spark down on the ground with you, and then go for a shatter. And even then, most likely, you just get Belosria if he doesn't bubble in time. The main win condition here is you need the Blizzard. When the Blizzard's available, that's how you're going to get this.
Belosria! Somebody's got to save him! Nobody can! The beat comes in from Fixa too late! He couldn't get on top of him! Now they have no tank, now they have no shatter, and Shy is just going ham with the visor. All of them getting ripped apart, no Blizzard, no nothing. They see the win conditions, I'm sure. They know what they need to do in order to get things moving, but Belosria ends up getting caught, ends up taking so much damage, cannot escape. No one can come to his rescue, and it doesn't make it very far. Just there on the downslope, Gravity not even assisting them and sliding it further. And that's all the Spark needs to do in order to tie this. Yeah.
It's actually moving the opposite end of the gravity. No, but I think what happens there is that is, to me, not a very surprising place for the Fusion to get held up, because when you think about the Rhine comps, nothing to really take the high ground with. You have to basically fight for the high ground the hard way. And when I say the high ground, I'm talking about, like, you know, the actual overpass. It's not really a bridge, but, you know, that overpass
platform
area above that sort of car wash section, right? You need to take that, but then after you take that, you still have to push the payload. So how do you do both? Because you have to stack as 5. So if you do take the high ground, then you drop down to push the payload, Spark just take the high ground back from you, and you can't really fight them. And you saw how hard it was for the Fusion to push towards the payload when everybody almost completely 5 different people in separate areas of that high ground and on that B area of the map for the Hangzhou Spark. And if you're a Rhine, you can't catch them. You do need a sim to try and catch them. However, we also did explain the sim's value is starting to really dip once we get to the escort sections of Midtown. For A, when it's just a static point, Symmetra is great. Now that we're starting to be mobile in the objective, Symmetra's value drops a lot. So that brawl composition just didn't have, I think, the longevity for the map completion. You would have to get past the car wash, the underpass at minimum, to see the brawl composition find value again.
Well, out the gate, not going to be trying to go for any of these Rhine shenanigans, at least not yet. They push forward. I mean, on the side of the Spark. Of course, the Rhine aren't there for the Fusion. And Bernard's going to go for the Winston.
Bellistry is kind of hiding the pick a little bit here. He hasn't shown himself. I think once you see the May, you should kind of know. And probably by now, if you hit tab, you'll see it. But yeah, they should know that something is up.
Bernard going to go leaping across, gets himself into the fire station. Doesn't see anybody here on the low ground, at least. Eyes up the position of Bellistria. Now goes diving into the back. He's looking for Aim God. Even if he can force out something like the Immortality Field, it would be quite nice. And he's playing his limits pretty well here, but Zest will manage to eliminate him. Aim God does end up falling at the same time, though. Shine a bit low. Zest pulling back behind the Rhine shield as the point for now is going to be occupied by the side of the Spark. First tick picked up with 3 minutes left on the clock. This recontest needs to come through quickly here from the side of the Fusion.
Yeah, they're waiting for Aim God, so Aim God was getting taxied back from spawn. Now that he has, Bellistria first for the touch, but 2 ticks has been given up here. No ult to speak of just yet. Just going to frontline versus Bellistria so far.
Just jumping up, leaping over top of the shield, putting as many shurikens into the Rhine as possible. Bellistria just getting beaten and battered. There's the dive in. There's the finisher. Great Bionade woven into the fight there by Irony. The Immortality Field far too late from Aim God, but he makes up for it just a bit. Leaps up into the high ground, finds out the Yi, but now the visor's there from Shy. He manages to find 2. Fixa will take him down, but then Bernard gets the kill on the Fixa, and it's a near 5-minute needed hold here for the Fusion if they want to move up 2-0.
So consolation prize is they do force out the visor, so that's at least one extra piece of ultimate that is going to be taken off the board, but you wanted more than that. You wanted to shave more time off. 4 minutes.
There's almost a nano blade here for the Spark.
It's just so much, and that's the other thing, right? Because you have used the visor, but everything else is coming online. The good news is there's more to play through for the Fusion as well. The main tool, again, is going to be the Blizzard. At the end of the day, that's your panic button. If the cap is nearly there, you drop the Blizzard on the payload, you should be able to defend it.
Well, the cart for now moving completely unhindered. They're going to have the drop down here eventually as Alfie dives into the back line. It's a good push away initially, but the Immortality Field does not last very long, and I don't know if anyone's going to get the touch. They cannot. The blade comes out, everybody panics, everybody dies, and the Hangzhou Spark just make it look easy as they glide into a win here on Midtown. Fusion again, not finding very much success on this map. Not full health this time around, but still not the result that they're looking for. That's going to tie us up at 1-1. Fusion now will have their map pick, and we'll see where they decide to take us.
I mean, that was insane, right? I mean, you just see this one, lamp coming down from Aim God, killed in 1 slash. Alfie doesn't care. Just slaps out of the way like it's a complete just minor inconvenience. Like, that thing, no, it's not going to save you, buddy. Not going to do a thing. Talked about the Blizzard for 2 whole halves of Kilios. Didn't see it 1 time. Very sad.
Very sad indeed. I mean, Alfie, he was straight out of his chair as soon as that round won. I think he just pulled the blade, said, yeah, nano me, whatever, let's just finish this. I gotta go use the restroom. Now he's back, ready to go for map number 3. We'll wait to see what the Fusion have elected to take us to for Escort when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see who can move up to map point after this. And we are back and all tied up here in our first series of the Kickoff Clash. As, the map pick of Midtown for the side of the Hangzhou Spark paying off dividends as it was a fairly one-sided affair, I think it's safe to say there. Avril, now we have the Fusion making their first map selection coming into this. Watchpoint Gibraltar is what they've decided on as we get ready to go into Escort.
I don't think it's too surprising as well in terms of how dominant each particular map looks. With the maybe... I'll excuse the Oasis a little bit here. I think that doesn't quite count towards the point I'm about to make. But when you do have teams picking when they're, teams who lose picking the next map. So Spark get to then pick Midtown. They look much better on Midtown. Oasis technically also was a Spark's pick. If that was more of a neutral map, maybe we'd have a different discussion about it. But because now Fusion gets to pick their own map when we head towards Watchpoint Gibraltar, I'm expecting more out of this team. And especially because they are picking specifically a map type that favors keeping Ballasria in. Because if they really wanted Fury in, they would go towards Circuit Royale. I think that's the best escort map for an off-tank player. And then Burnout would probably stay hidden as well. But they're going to force Guangzhou to come back in for them now. Maybe... if I read into this a little bit deeper, it could be the opposite thing where I sit on Oasis, maybe it was Hangzhou Spark's kind of idea to play maps that would keep Ballasria in. Now the opposite is happening where Philadelphia Fusion want to keep Ballasria in and they want to force maps where Hangzhou Spark have to put Guangzhou in.
Well, I mean, you gotta think back to Guangzhou getting his first map win of the season. Guess what map that was, Avril? It was this one.
Uh-oh.
It was
Watchpoint Gibraltar.
What does it mean?
He's won quite a few since then as well, including the last time that these two teams actually matched up. So the kind of like, Guangzhou is a curse, he's not winning maps kind of deal is definitely over for now. As I get it. That jump is it can be pretty tricky. I've certainly failed a few times on my own. But moving forward, when you look at this series, when you look at these two teams, how close it was the last time they met barely a week ago. Yeah, I mean, this is the type of game that should be close, that should be going back and forth the entire way through. Gigantic nade to start things out.
Yeah, I was going to say, really bold of Ballasria to continue leaping forward onto that that high ground walkway, because we have seen Winston's immediately play towards this position and then get annihilated in the first few seconds of the round. Guangzhou instead going to be taking a defensive leap back over towards point A as he was anteed out on the high ground. Doesn't want to stick around and find out, so goes ahead, pulls away. Zemin3 playing in the underpass, is trying to track Shy, sends a shot his way but cannot get a hit.
So that opening kill to Super Rich actually gives Fusion an unbelievable lead because now they have both underpass control. See, the payload's already starting to push down. They also have high ground control, so they get to have their cake and also eat it too off the back of one kill. And that's even with the fact that Irony landed the initial nade that set up the play for the Spark, and they were the ones that first lost the player.
Well, speaking of eating it, Aim God, he bit the dust there. Shy, nice little headshot, taking down the enemy Ana, opens things up a bit, spots MN3, knows that he's going for the jump shot. Ooh, narrow window to be able to get that headshot through. Can't quite make it happen, but you can tell he was looking in the correct position. Try to get rid of the opposing sniper. As MN3 just putting a bit of damage there into Guangzhou.
This
Irony, though, surging ahead.
This stall is really good for Hangzhou Spark now, as Fusion have just completely slowed down. They're maybe waiting for MN3 to land shots. Shy has hit the majority of the shots so far, when we look at just the difference of where that ult charge is, but MN3's response is fantastic here, so that's going to be the 5v4 that allows Fusion to walk forward as soon as their nano is also available for Aim God. Yeah,
he was listening to what you were saying, and he said, okay, fine, I'll just kill him then. Guangzhou is just zapping away at this man who has got no support whatsoever thus far. We'll go grapple down onto the low ground where he can receive some healing. Alpha Yi anteed out, the chase coming through. Ballasria tries to get that kill, can't make it happen. Blade gonna be pulled first and foremost here by Zest. Dashing in, gets both of the supports, doubles down for another one there onto Alpha Yi. Now the Sleep Dart chasing forward, the headshots connecting, the Bionade is there. It's a brilliant delayed team wipe as they will go ahead and push this through. Vixo is dashing over to the side for some reason, and Name God says, okay, fine, I'll bring the cart forward. Split spawns now.
Some bad spawns as well. This is just going to slow down Spark even further in terms of regrouping. Adds more ult charge towards Fusion's ult bank, which they actually had an advantage on. I think that comes from the fact that they kind of won the first pseudo fight. I say pseudo fight because it's basically just Super Rich going down and Fusion walking forward. But enough early damage being done by Zest that he had the Dragon Blade lead. So Alfie could not respond. Shy also died to MN3, so everything that Fusion needed in terms of small individual micro things happening, that kind of did happen in very small ways. But that gives you a lead to work with.
Bella's, I mean, playing off the info here from MN3 quite nicely. Got into the back lines, took down Shy instantly. Where that initial shot did not connect. Now AimGod finding Gushue and Alpha Yi, I mean, antied out, nowhere to go. Fixa will kill him off screen. The Primal now going to be popped as Bella's says, like, yeah, I've got 2 people cornered. I'm just going to push them up the stairwell and juggle them around. The rally from Super Rich does keep Irony alive, but now he falls lower and lower. Will get eliminated. And Zest is there for the alley-oop, comes through to help finish off the supports. MN3 dead in the meantime, but it doesn't matter. Fixa got that elimination, and while they got slowed up at point A for a considerable amount of time, they now have 4.5 minutes to push this final stretch of Gibraltar.
And now you start to see why Bella's is here and why they want to keep him in and want to play this map here as well. He's actually had a phenomenal A to B sort of scale play in terms of having that front control. You talked about playing off the information from MN3 as well. He solos double supports. Irony actually missed a sleep. Now that actually is very costly. If Irony lands asleep, the 2 supports of Spark can actually help their team make a counterplay, but the 2 supports of Spark instead caught up in a corner. Free cap coming on through. 4 minutes plus into C is unreal. This is going to be a pretty damn good time bank.
Well, if they can get the finish. This is a difficult point to cap, so could get stopped up a bit. Blade now going to be pulled going into the back line. Swipes in. Shy going to go down. Dashing through. Trying to get on top of Super Rich, and Zest will get the elimination. Alpha E with a blade of his own, though. Finds AimGod. He's looking for a little bit more, but there's just too much pressure being applied from the side of the Fusion. They hound him down. He only gets 1 for the blade, and that was the only ultimate that they had available there. The next closest thing is going to be the Primal, which will be decent, and then otherwise the Infrasight.
Still waiting for the Primal from Gushue as well. It will be matched by Bella's. Look at the payload positioning. Again, still 3:30. In the last 30 seconds, we've made plenty of extra mileage on this actual payload itself. Alpha now coming through on a Tracer and struggling to get too much done. Already has to use the recall.
Yep, Zest is right here looking for him. Misjudged the recall positioning just a bit. Otherwise, he might have been able to get an earlier punish there. Still taps him down quite low with a headshot shuriken. Now has to dash away. Primal does come through. Gushue looking to open things up a bit here for his squad. Bella's in the meantime just looking to go ahead and gatekeep the rest of the team back into the spawn room. Has to leap out to his safety. As, yeah, bubble will come up. He takes a little bit of a nap. Gushue, like 1 HP right there for just a moment. Does manage to stay alive. A little bit of scary margins that he's playing around. The Infrasight's up now for MN3, looking for a target.
You can see that they were just respecting the fact that, okay, Gushue's also popped the Primal rather here. They are respawning. There's been an Infrasight being played in MN3 now, responding with an Infrasight. Finds that kill to Alpha Yi with a Nano on the Gushue. That's going to be the last stand. I mean, if this Nano doesn't get value, it's over.
No, it's not, because he's going to be taking a nap inside of his bubble. Now he's going to have a bit of a rude awakening. Has to leap back over to the spawn room, trying to stay alive. Super Richie gets a rally, but it's not in time. They're trying to keep Irony, and he cannot get enough healing. As Irony was dead, there was nobody there to try to top him back up, so Zested with a blade manages to find the other support. The right click taking down Gushue, and now it's just a matter of time as Alpha Yi, yeah, he will fall. MN3 with some fantastic headshots on this final stretch. 2 minutes and 5 seconds, the finishing time here for the Fusion. And knowing what we know about Gibraltar, that's a pretty damn big time bank.
And it's a giant gap in the DPS department here as well. It's not just the fact that, Alpha Yi compared to Midtown, it's a completely different game. It's like there's one good team between both of these 2 teams, and they trade places between who's going to win and who's going to lose across these maps. And I did say, look, when map choice comes in, it is going to make a big difference, because you are going to end up being able to choose maps that you are favored on, and we're seeing that in full force here with Fusion dominating their opening attack here. 11 final blows for Zest. Only 1 final blow for Alpha Yi. It's not been a good time for Hangzhou Spark, and it's not just Alpha Yi. The entire team got kind of dumpstered there on that defense. Staggered all the way through B. Didn't even really get to pop a blade. I believe that 1 kill actually came through from the blade. How long did Alpha Yi have to hold on to that blade for? Quite a while. Didn't get to use it until C. Hangzhou Spark never got to set up a fight. Irony and Super Rich barely got to play the game. Bella's kept them cornered for most of that B push. It was an entirely free B push. How many times do you see a B cap come in the manner that Fusion did it? Completely for free. Doesn't happen. Yeah. So, Spark, a lot of questions need to be asked here, because we're heading into match point for Fusion otherwise, and it's looking very likely it will be a 2-1.
Well, we've had full holds on this map. We've had people pushing to the finish with some decent time bank. We'll have to see what happens now for Fusion, because sometimes you get that really strong attack, and then they flip over to the defense. It's like, oh, actually, we can't hold at all. You know, we only can attack. We'll see if that's going to be the case for them here. But either way,
that's how you get those
really well practiced.
That's how you get those 8 Anubis kind of maps, right? Those 11-11, Volsky maps coming through that you play for 3 hours on one map. So I see it. I get it.
I know that some people miss that. We're not big fans of that, but I, for one, kind of miss the old 2CP. I wish that they would bring it back.
Good memes. Good memes.
Give me a special game mode, you know, like a week where you add it back into the competitive queue. I think that would be wonderful.
1.5
anyway.
CP. 1.5 control points.
You only have to get half the tick of the point to win. Shy, jump shot over the top. Instantly does dump Bellisria. Takes him low. Aim God going to be taking a nap. Seems like, though, with the peel coming through for Bellisria in the back line, no one able to get on top of Aim God to get the punish. So he'll be woken back up and it's right back into the fray.
Slow innings for Spark to start things out with. Again, a little bit of focus on the actual payload itself, trying to move it through the car wash and maybe up the hill. This time you're not going to see, or unless Shy lands a shot, you're not going to see this insane opening pick come through that force the defensive team away instantly. In fact, Fusion are doing a great job of holding onto this high ground so far, making it very difficult for the Spark to actually walk forward in there. No longer actually even getting payload distance or high ground control, so they're losing on both fronts of map control.
And Bellisria identifying exactly where Shy is at. Takes him low, can't get that kill. In the meantime, MN3 does find Alpha Yi, though. Bellisria still playing a bit boldly. Gets Ante down to 150. Will manage to make his exit, though. Shy taking a nap. No one really going to be able to get on top of him, though. The whole team of the Hangzhou Spark is there. So he will safely wake up.
Okay, it's nano time for sure now. This is what we've been waiting for. The Spark have been waiting for ultimates because they don't have anything else. Bellisria goes in first. Now, you'll notice that Bellisria is playing super aggro. He can because he's got the Primal. He's always going to be able to bail himself out. Gushray now has a Primal here as well. This is also putting a lot of pressure onto Shy to give MN3 the space to work with instead.
Yep, just dropping down, zapping everybody that he can. Falls down to 30 HP before popping the Primal. Now goes into the back line, juggling the Genji around a little bit. The Nano goes on him as well. Oh, no, it doesn't. Never mind. That's just his Primal little zappy zaps going around his fists. And he'll leap back in. A little leapfrog. Just over the top to get himself back, joined in with the rest of the squad. The support's off on the flank. Ante goes out. They get the push back there off the whip shot. He's chasing. He's looking for Aim God. And it has to come through, down to Gushway rather, jumping forward to be able to get that elimination. Otherwise, the Blade was not going to be finding too much. But they set up enough damage for Gushway to find the kill. Rally now rolling his fix and tries to keep himself and the rest of the squad alive. But Zest going to be taken down. Alpha E finds that.
Oh, 99.
Getting a little bit of revenge, but now he's low. Ante'd out. Has to wait for the rest of the squad to join in. Shy gets taken down by MN3, but MN3 falls to Gushway. Cart now pushing forward. Just a couple meters left to go here with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining on the clock. Ante out from Irony, not going to connect. Fix up blocks that one with the shield. Nano at the ready. Ante just going to be clearing the Venom Mine. Not finding really any targets other than Gushway, who's since exited, and they get them to reset.
Spark just back out. Yeah, they completely back out. They actually could have forced a Nano Blade there, but they back out. If they put a little bit more pressure on the payload and onto members respawning, I guarantee the Nano Blade is forced out. And look, Spark probably lose the fight, but in terms of resources, that would have been hugely in their favor to force extra ultimates out. Now there is still going to be the potential, but with Zest being taken down, the Nano's going to be forced onto Bellisria instead.
Yep, like we're going to have to be here. It's Bellisria. Yep, there we go. The Nano goes out onto him, still hovering around half HP as he tries to hold the cart in position. Just 4 or so meters left to go here to get that bump up on the time bank. 2.5 minutes to get added in. Dive into the back. He's looking for Shy, but the healing is going to be good. They get the sleep dart down onto him, and now here comes the Blade. But Zest instantly gets evaporated. Super Rich gets on top of him. The Ante was there from Irony. They find the punish from the Genji. Shy, however, now going to be out of the fight. Bellisria pops that Primal Rage and gets on top of Irony, taking their own Nano out of the fight there. Stick through from Alpha E, gets the kill on the MN3. They still look to try to get this across the finish line, but Zest returning now over onto the Tracer, instantly finds the kill onto Alpha Yi, taking him out of the fight. The Rally going to be rolling to fix it, trying to keep everybody else alive. Leap up into the air from Gushway. The touch comes back in, Super Rich with a Rally of his own. It's going to be taken out of the fight. Aim God shuts it down with the Bionade. Zest now gone. We are in such a back and forth brawl, but someone's got to touch the cart, and Gushway, he dies before he can hit the floor. He does not contest, and the Fusion will full hold their map pick, paying off wonderfully as they now take the lead 2-1.
And just being able to bounce on and off that payload to be able to maintain control and contesting it from the defensive side of things. Irony dying at 99% was the kill that secured that one, on top of actually killing, you know, Super Rich and denying the Rally as well. Both those supports dying at that critical time is massive in Fusion's favor. Irony didn't get the Nano off at all. You could see him in the background trying to come back from spawn, but poor Ana, very slow character. She's old, she can't move very quickly. The Nano never came on through. If that Nano comes through for Gushray, I think there's a fair shot that Spark actually continue to fight that one and maybe even cap. But could they finish the map? Extremely unlikely. I said straight away, looking at how dominant that attack was from the Fusion, even if Spark get towards B, I don't think they finished with the map. They've finished the map at all. If they do finish the map, the time bank will not be good. So Fusion, off the back of a successful attack, definitely had that one in the bag, and a deserved 2-1.
Well, there you have it. 2-1 the lead now for the side of the Fusion, but if we've learned anything from these map selections, that we very well could be going into a Game 5. Hangzhou Spark looks like they're electing to take us to New Queen Street for our push map. We'll see if they can tie this up yet again, extend it into a Map 5 series, or if the Fusion can put their foot down, get some revenge, and take it cleanly with a 3-1. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a few. And we are back and going into what very well could be the last map in our initial match here in the Kickoff Clash. The Fusion currently leading 2-1 over the Hangzhou Spark after they close out with a full hold on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now we set our sights on New Queen Street to see if the Spark can tie it up yet again.
And push is maybe a dangerous territory here. There's only two options, so this is probably one of the situations where getting map pick doesn't feel as impactful as maybe getting map pick for, say, Escort, where your choices are plentiful in terms of where you can go to, and there's very distinct playstyle changes depending on what map you go. Like I've already mentioned, Circuit Royale heavily favoring off-tank players, and then Gibraltar heavily favoring the main tank players in terms of hero pools, right? New Queen Street, it's probably, look, if you're going to go to a push map, this is probably the better one overall in terms of how good it is to play. I just don't like Coliseum. I'll put it out there. That's probably not a hot take. Most people probably agree. But is it good for Spark? I mean, hard to say. They did lose Coliseum to Philadelphia Fusion the last time these two teams met. We're not actually playing Coliseum now. Got to be playing something here where, looking at the fact that Bellisri is still in for the Fusion, it says to me the possibility of a Ryan like we've seen from London so far, proving that Ryan is actually a pretty strong pick here. There is a possibility just to play the Doom, which I don't think is very good. Most teams that have played Doom on New Queen Street haven't actually done well. Or Bellisri just plays a Winston. Pretty standard, pretty neutral, but we do know 100%, pretty much 100%, that Bernard is going to be playing that Zarya. So if Bellisri wanted to go Ryan, I think it's a reasonable matchup into the Zarya if that's the thinking and the strategy from the Fusion department right now.
Well, let's see what they have prepared for us as we get ready to go back into the action. Carpe, of course, rejoining with MN3 sitting on the bench. Looks like it's just going to be the Soldier 76 from him. I thought maybe we would see the Reaper. It looks like they will do a little bit of a mismatch as Zest is currently on the Tracer. 10 seconds left to swap, though.
And the other thing I have to comment about Hangzhou Spark on a push map as well is that they typically have Alfie on a Reaper, whereas Zest will most likely, you know, the last time they played, Zest actually played the Genji, but the Tracer option's also pretty decent here as well. I likely will be swapping off the Tracer eventually, though, because Tracer into Zarya, not a great matchup here, so probably we'll see the Genji eventually. Alfie's Reaper is good, but I feel like it doesn't have the same pop-up potential as his Genji, so that is part of the worry for Spark playing this specific composition. However, the Reaper does punish the Winston of Bellisria, so if that ends up being the area of success for the Hangzhou Spark, they can definitely win.
All right, well, Wraithwalk going to be forced early here. Alfie rejoins up on the high ground, just playing around the side of Statue, gets on top of Bellisria. The anti goes out onto him as well. And that's going to lead to him jumping out of the fight. Zest inches forward the bot for just a little bit here. Gains a whole almost 2 meters. Big distance as the sleep connects on the Zest. He wakes back up. Doesn't have a recall, but he's got the healing there from his teammates to keep him safe.
1.89 meters. I mean, that's not even as tall as Johnny, I think. So let's see what we get there. 198. That's a bit, I think, is that taller than Johnny? I'm pretty sure Johnny's like 5 meters tall, but in any case, he's actually a Titan from Attack on Titan, if you're wondering.
He's pretty gigantic, as they have now bested them by 8 or 9 meters there. Or 0.09 meters, I should say. Okay, enough about the math. So I'm just going to focus on yelling about the kills that come through, because we have a couple. Alfie and Irony going to be out of the fight. They do trade Aim God, but it's going to be a nice trade up for the side of the Fusion, a 2-for-1. A little bit of an extended there, as Bernard does manage to find Aim God, try to allow for Irony to catch back up towards that Nano Boost charge that has been surging ahead. Aim God at 94% already.
The death really helps Irony to catch up a little bit here, but Shy's actually ahead in terms of the visor, so that's the important part. They won't be able to nano visor, but they can just throw the visor out there before there's any real response from the Philadelphia Fusion. At this point, we're not seeing a huge amount of distance, 25-ish meters, okay, still reasonably far away from the actual checkpoint cap itself. Bellistria going in deep, still waiting for Shy to pull through with the ultimate. Somebody's got to use an ult at some stage, because Fusion's banking them up as well.
Yeah, just leaping into that back alley there, Bellistria trying to pressure the back lines. Wraithwalk going to be used. Oh, he tries to go in to get the stick as soon as he exits out of Wraith form. Cannot do so. Fusion still keeping the bot quite far forward as Carpe goes on a bit of a flank here with Bellistria through the interior of the building to try to get an angle. Sound Barrier going to come through in response to the visor pop here by Shy. Nano's out on him as well. Manages just at the very end to get Aim God as that shield barrier goes away. Super Rich will be traded out, but it's going to be a trade up for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. We now start shifting the bot back to the opposite side of the map. Fix as well going to be going down as they look for a little bit of an extended team wipe. Don't think they'll be able to find it unless they can get on top of Bellistria, which they do. The Carpe has well exited the building in the vicinity. So bot now going to be pushing. We'll see how far they can go.
We've used so many ultimates in that last fight. The only one remaining ends up being Carpe's Visor, which didn't get used in the last fight. Despite the desperation Nano coming on in, we actually saw from Shy's POV, he wasn't able to find targets. He gets Aim God as the only kill, and Aim God still gets the Nano down, but no further kills off the back of the Nano from Aim God to save the day for the Fusion. how can they use this visor now? It's pretty much just going to have to be laid in there for Carpe.
Oh, he TP's right in behind them, and they are not prepared for it whatsoever. 2 kills quickly picked up. Carpe taken low, finished off by Shy at range. Fixa trying to stay in the fight, but cannot. Shy will find that elimination, and that is going to be the team kill coming through as the Hangzhou Spark can very well make it to the second checkpoint here.
It's brilliant initiative coming through from the Spark as well, because you see that Fusion, hands in pockets there, not too sure what the play is. They aren't really committing just yet. Carpe still holding to visor. Alpha Epe takes it with his own hands, pulls the trigger early, dives in, TP in with the bubble for the Death Blossom, super successful. Talk about the potential for capping the checkpoint, not quite there, and this is where Fusion need to make their stand.
Ria looking for the short hop there into the back lines. Bionane thrown down by Irony, just keeping everybody topped up, and he's nearly got the Nano online now. Will be ready to go. Doesn't have a great recipient for it other than maybe Bernard if he can get to high energy. Otherwise, Alpha Yi could be the recipient here, and he will be. As I go ahead and set the stage for it. So they go ahead, throw that one down. Yeah, the grab out, and it's just going to be an absolute flood of pink in the kill feed as they just come up with a massive win here in the team fight. That's the last one staying alive, but eventually will fall, and the bot didn't make it very far away. Hangzhou are right back in control, and this time they will get the checkpoint.
I thought maybe Burner put the grab on top of the Jim Borden's club there, but it ends up being the Jim instead, so we'll take that one. It's a couple of kills. Again, not a lot of responses coming through from the Fusion side of things. Still really slow to pull trigger here at all. They had no support ultimates, obviously no sound barrier to protect themselves. Cap is near, but still not quite enough to actually... Do they have the cap? They do.
Oh!
Huge double.
I don't even think he got the stick there. I think he just threw it on the wall and they both collapsed on top of it, but that's a major opening here from the side of Zest. As the bot is moving forward, Alpha Yi just going over towards the bot, delays it here for a moment as they look for the reset. They will be given it. Now it's about 30 meters to take the lead once the bot gets to pushing yet again.
And there should still be one more fight available here for the Hangzhou Spark before the checkpoint can be unlocked and capped by the Fusion. Now, the good news for Fusion, that time actually saving ults helped them because they get massive alley on the double kill on the Pulse Bomb. Everything else gets saved. Finally, the Nano Visor comes on through. This is still, by the way, the first visor the Carpe has had, the same visor since the start of the game. We'll finally see it this fight, hopefully.
Okay, well, there's the Nano so far. No visor. He's looking for a target. He's seen absolutely nothing. They absolutely just scatter away from him like cockroaches into the shadows as soon as the lights come on. They run away. Shy desperately trying to escape. Carpe,
get him!
Or shot to him! Just shoot him! Just shoot him, Carpe! Don't fix this. Says, okay, fine. I'll do it if you cannot. If you're not willing, I will be the one to end this man's life. He takes down Shy. Now they look for a little bit more. Alpha E going to be rates walking out. Makes his exit. Sound barrier going to be dropped.
Interesting beat.
Putting that beat onto himself, onto Carpe. He will now finally be using the attack visor, but it's an instant beat in response from Super Rich, and now Ria has died because he didn't receive any of that sound barrier. Carpe's going to be dead. Imgod's sticking out of the fight, and the Hangzhou Spark, they take the bot right away from the Fusion yet again.
It's a confusing beat because in some ways I'm like, I guess it's a tempo beat coming through from Fixer. However, it doesn't even get onto every single member, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then Super Rich just counter beats anyway, so I don't know what that was all about. And then Carpe visors during the beat. Did he visor with his own beat or did he do it after? I can't. The entire thing is just jumbled brains at this moment. It's not very clean from the Fusion.
Okay,
that, however, is much better.
Yeah, finding a big value pick, doesn't get the stick, but it's fine. Puts it at Irony's feet, and he cannot get away from it. Now follows up, gets an elimination on Alpha Yi. Yep, Zest is saying, you know what, I will fight, I will drag you guys kicking and screaming back across the opposite side of New Queen Street if I have to. Fix it there as well, trying to pack him up. Gets the elimination onto Shy. Now Super Rich going to be taken down, and it's the Fixa and Zest show as the bot will be shipped across towards the Spark side of the map yet again. Still 7 meters that they need to close out if they want to get the lead, and there's only a minute remaining, as you say.
Well, to be fair, in a minute you can definitely get... It's one fight, right? You get one fight, you cap, and I actually think they win off this. So this final fight is actually for all the marbles. If you do actually get this fight win and you get over 57 meters, very unlikely that Hangzhou Spark can come back in the OT. So whoever wins the fight and gets control of the payload during the actual OT, probably the team that will... Whoever has the lead, rather, during the OT, is probably the team that takes it at the moment. Zest, I don't know if you can tell, but he really wants to win today, so he's hoping that they can be him.
Grab Blossom is available, though, so they have to be careful here. No way, obviously, to deny that grab away. Just have to try to play around as best as possible. The Nano going to be coming out as Carpe's down on the high ground. That's in response to the Graviton Surge. Carpe, while locked into that, will find Irony. The Blossom comes in, gets one, but Zest, again, hungry for the victory. Comes over the kill on Bernard, now gets Shy. Looks for another target. Alpha Yi sat here on the bot, as is Super Rich. Is antied out somehow lasted quite a lot longer than I might have anticipated, but they will fall.
Oh my god.
It's just Zest and Fixa continuing to find these kills, and the Fusion might have just now brought it back. The Doomfist is there to contest, stops them from making to the checkpoint. Obviously, they still need to push through from there, but now Bernard, going to be eliminated. The bot makes it through, and now they have to wait it out. He takes his little break, rubs his shoulders, make sure he's ready to start pushing yet again.
Fusion's got it.
Dive for it. Visor comes out. Yeah, Carpe finding one. Irony now going to be gone. The pulse bomb not going to get super rich, but he cannot get over to the bot. As
no, I think Fusion won.
They should have.
I think Fusion won. They had control of the payload in the OT.
Yes.
So they win.
Yes, they did.
Right?
They had to have.
Congratulations, Fusion. Surely they won. What an interesting... Not that one. No, surely. No, that's definitely a Fusion win. It's got to be. Come on, we can't have Boston Uprising winning again.
The only way that would not have been is if they all left the bot. I think that is just a coding issue.
No, that can't be it.
I think that might
Surely
just be a little bit of beta.
Everyone's saying GG's. Everyone's saying GG's. Okay, Fusion did win. Fusion did actually win. Okay. Calm down. We got there. We got there. Fusion, in fact, have won. Even though the thing didn't say Fusion won, we noted that they did.
Okay.
Let me comment really briefly on something that happened in the final fight before we move further forward. Interesting grab choice by Burner. He solo grabs Carpe on top of that is a tram bus thing. And he was unkillable. Carpe was like unkillable. And Alfie's like, I guess I have to Blossom to kill one guy. He does Blossom. He does kill Carpe at the cost of 2 members of the Spark going down. Spark thought they could end it there. Spark thought if they just get this fight win with the grab and Death Blossom, which probably they should have if it wasn't just all used on one person and then traded for 2 in response, maybe Spark could have had that map. We would have been to a map 5. But Fusion, they have an ultimate advantage despite losing Carpe. They have a player advantage despite losing Carpe. We're heading to the final fight at OT. Burner comes back on a Doom, instantly dies, and that's the end of that. Fusion, 3-1. Beautiful display today. Or maybe forget about the Midtown incident. It's always that map, isn't it, Kilo? It's that Midtown incident. Same thing against Chengdu, but wipe that one from my memories, and the rest is fine.
Yeah, it really is. I realize, people are probably panicking now because just given the delays and whatnot, that this is when things are starting to be confusing. But yes, they win this. Fusion make it happen. I mean, so much cleaner here. The Midtown incident, we will just completely ignore it. I don't know what that map is. That didn't get played in this series at all. We just kind of skipped over that and awarded a win to Hangzhou Spark out of the generosity in our hearts. But yeah, Fusion looking a hell of a lot cleaner today. And, we were back and forth initially trying to figure out who could be the player of the match here. But after that last map of New Queen Street, it could only be one man. It is Zest. He showed that he has a fire and a fear in his belly, and he did not want to lose this series at all. The Genji plays from him, clean with the blades. The Tracer there, pretty much immaculate on that last map.
On every single map, I think Zest performed admirably. I think maybe only Midtown, where Zest was kind of forced onto awkward picks. Like we saw the May coming on through. We saw the Sim coming in through again. If we forget about the Midtown incident, the rest of Zest gameplay across the board, brilliant stuff. I mean, that includes Oasis as well. In a sort of series where a heavy talking point was Alpha Yi, especially on Midtown. Alpha Yi was really pumping. But when push comes to shove, and we really look at, plays like that, the double pulse bomb kill, that one double pulse bomb really gave Fusion such a major advantage in turning around the fight. So we talk about, I don't know about the rest of Fusion, but today Zest really wanted to win. Yeah, he definitely wanted to win if he got there. He pulled that team across the line.
Yeah, absolutely did. I mean, 6 kills with the Dragon Blade here on the Genji, and I think he got pretty darn close to that number as well with Pulse Bombs. I think by the end of that New Queen Street, he had at least 4, so was putting up some significant numbers here for the side of the Philly Fusion. And this is a guy who, at the very start of the year, came out the gate swinging, impressed all of us, immediately started the conversation of, Rookie of the Year, kind of centered around him, around a lot of the rookies on the side of the Philly Fusion, and he has continued to deliver. And now in his first series in the Kickoff Clash, his first proper tournament here in the Overwatch League, he's able to very much help carry the team to victory over the Hangzhou Spark. So that sets them up very nicely. But the question now, Avril, becomes, who does he have to best next? Who else does he have to carry the Fusion on his back to beat? We're going to find out in just a few minutes, because we're going to go to a little break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this series, what it means, what we can expect from the Hangzhou Spark moving forward as they fall down to the lower bracket, etc. But we do have the Shanghai Dragons versus the Seoul Dynasty on the horizon. They are playing for a chance to go up against the Philly Fusion in the next side of the upper bracket. We'll see what happens in just a little bit when we come back, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
And we are back before we jump into our second series of the evening and our first day of the Kickoff Clash here in APAC. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the matchup we just saw. Philly Fusion, I think, shattering a lot of people's expectations. This is a rematch, as we said at the top of the show. These guys just recently played against each other last week, went the distance, went to 5. Can't make it happen this time, the Spark. I mean, they elected to pick the Philly Fusion, thinking that they were going to be the weakest opponent they could go up against to kick off this tournament, and now they've suffered a loss. Now they find themselves in the lower bracket. What does this mean for the Hangzhou Spark moving forward, Admiral?
I mean, it definitely hurts in a bracket with so many good teams, right? Because now the next game is going to have to be against either Shanghai or Seoul. They've beaten Seoul before, but they didn't beat Shanghai last time, so that might be a bit rough. And even then, I think both Seoul and Shanghai have leveled up since those occasions in which Spark actually played against them. Now, Spark choosing Fusion isn't out of the ordinary. I think it actually is a fine choice to make because, A, they probably are on paper the 4th best team out of 4 here. That's considering that Spark had a 5-1 record going into this and looked pretty dominant. That shakes things up now a little bit, viewing that Fusion actually won this map against Spark. If you actually put Fusion in your pick'ems, that's a fine choice as well because you can just kind of flip coins for all of these games and everybody can beat everyone. We don't have a situation where there are teams that are clearly outskilling and much better than other teams currently. I think all 4 teams have the capability to beat everyone else. So it's a close tournament. It's going to be a close affair all the way through. Every single match could go either way, which makes things exciting, but even unpredictable as well, which is in the best way, I believe. So props to Fusion for making the run back possible. You know, they get the rematch. They probably felt like they should have beaten the Spark last time they met in that 2-3 loss. And now that they get to prove they are the team that were meant to win, and they get the 3-1 victory instead. And I would say in a much better look as well, far cleaner than what we saw last time when these two teams faced off.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this is something that we kind of talked about forever ago. Once the Philly Fusion kind of started having their initial decline in performance, you know, coming out playing against the Seoul Dynasty, getting swept there, was that you do have to give them a little bit of time to continue to build this energy, to get warmed up, and to be able to play against these teams. They need to kind of feel them out. Obviously, Midtown, I know we said we won't talk about Midtown. That is still a very big issue, and I think that pretty much anybody who plays against the Fusion in the future is going to look to take them to that map if they have that choice to pick. So that's something that definitely needs to be improved. But for every other map, for the team cohesion as a whole, we're seeing it continue to grow. I think they had just a really hot start. They had a little bit of a dip. They got, had their wake-up call. They got slapped around a little bit by the Dynasty, and now we're seeing the fruits of their labor, their efforts, their grinding that they're putting in really coming to fruition. They're blossoming. So we have to just go ahead.
Final comment would be, I think the Midtown is recoverable as well because it came down to them taking a risk and a gamble on Rhine-based compositions. They've learned their lesson now. Maybe it's not the answer. Okay, we're not the London Spitfire. We haven't had enough practice on this composition. Yeah. There are weaknesses here that got exploited. They don't have to go back to the Rhine as well. So even that Midtown, I think, is a recoverable situation for them.
Oh, I completely agree as well. I think it's just something that they need to put to practice a little bit more since, they can't, ban it away or anything. I think they've shown their weaknesses there, and I think that they should expect that teams are probably going to try to attack them with that map pick. So, just need to strengthen that up. And if they can do that, then I think they're in a very good position. But, yeah, I think it's just a little bit of that early season roller coaster going on for the Fusion with this new roster and whatnot, with these rookies coming together. And right now, it's looking good. We'll see how they fare in their next matchup. But first, we have to figure out who they're going to be playing against, because it's either going to be the Seoul Dynasty or the Shanghai Dragons. That matchup is getting ready to happen in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll have a quick little break, and then we'll get right back into the action. And welcome back, guys. It is time to go into our second series here in the Kickoff Clash, and this one is pretty much always a banger between these two squads, as they have long since fought for dominance, long since fought to the throne here in the APAC region. It's the Shanghai Dragons up against the Seoul Dynasty, and who really knows what we're going to get? I mean, you were just talking about how anybody can kind of beat anybody on a given day, but with these two teams especially, it feels like things are constantly up in the air.
And I just got an interesting factoid. We'll see this when we get into the game as well, but these two teams have actually played each other a total of 19 matches all time. I don't actually have the match record for that. I'll have to find that out at a later date. Maybe in the next broadcast I'll give you the answer for that when Seoul and Shanghai, if they meet again, which I think it's likely they do meet again, because as much as I say that anybody can win this tournament, anybody can beat anybody, there is still a bit of a minor tier list, and in my mind, Seoul and Shanghai are the two better teams of the four teams that we do have in the tournament so far, as far as experience goes, veterancy, pop-off potential, and individuals, mechanics, everything. They've got it all right. This is why currently I think these are the top two teams in our region in APAC, and they deliver, I think, the best games as well.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups here, see what they have prepared for, see if they throw any curveballs, but something tells me that it's going to be pretty stock standard from both of these teams. There you go, kicking things off. Yeah,
no way, Smurfs playing tank?
Oh my god, I can't believe it!
No way.
No experimentation here with Prophet trying his hand at the Zarya or anything like that. We'll just be sticking to the DPS lineup. Smurf, of course, they're the lone tank player here for the side of the Dynasty.
They've only played Stalker one time. And I think
it did not go well.
I believe they lost that map. He only played Tracer. It is one of his better heroes, although to be fair, that was during Seoul's kind of experimentation phase. Smurf's playing a whole bunch of different heroes. Fitz is on the Sombra way too often, and not even to try and counter the Doom. So we're out of that phase now. Seoul Dynasty like, no, here's our 5 players. We know what our comps are. We know what we're good at. This is what we're going to do. Take a look at the other team here as well. Shouldn't be too surprising. Flitter does play some of the opening maps, but it's actually going to be Who Are You, because we are going to, we'll find out in a second, it's the control of Oasis, I believe. So the Genji to bring things out early. I think the real chance to see Flitter will be on the push map, either Colosseum or New Queen Street, depending on who picks it. And that's probably when you see Flitter for the Reaper, unless you just keep playing Who Are You on the Genji. I mean, we're still in the Genji meta. You could just keep playing the Genji if you want to. So...
And I don't mind it.
Shanghai to me is starting to figure it out. Because you'll remember Shanghai as well. I think in the early games, they got 0-3 by Fusion, shaky matches, map 5s all the time. Great thing about Shanghai is they don't lose those map 5s. And now, as scary as they are, they're even scarier because they've been improving every single game.
Now they have been. Well, I find it fitting that Who Are You is the only one who still doesn't have a picture to really just go with the whole name theme that he's got going on for himself there. But
he
eventually...
He is a dragon.
He is just actually a dragon. He is the embodiment of the Dragon Blade. Well, Oasis will be our first map as we get ready to go into this best-of-5 series between these two titanic forces here in the APAC region. It will be Garden to start it off. We'll see what they have pieced together for us, but with Who Are You in the mix, you can always anticipate it's going to be a Genji.
More maps, more matches against each other than any other teams in the league, 19 all time. Exactly.
That's incredible.
It's insane. It really is. It's partially because when we had the sort of APAC in a split, the East-West split, both Shanghai and Seoul are obviously in that split, and when you are usually the good teams, you end up playing each other more because of playoffs and because of tournaments, etc., right? So it does also make a lot of sense to me, but I also think it's just an exciting rivalry. I mean, we've got plenty of rivalries in the APAC region between different types of teams, but at the top level, this is one of those, like, here's the number 1 versus number 2 team type of rivalry. So let's kick things off. Head over towards Oasis Garden. It's going to be a mirror match on both ends, and the Winstons dive on in.
Yep, the Prophet Genji versus the Who Are You. Smurf and Prophet already taking quite a bit of damage, but it's going to be Fitz who draws first blood, and then Prophet manages to cut his way through Lijiang on finding another one, and it is going to be a fairly one-side affair here in the opening volley as Vindhame comes up with 3 of the final blows. A team kill before the point even unlocks, Avril. And I like the pace being set here by the Dynasty. I'm just hoping that the Dragons can answer back in kind, because I'm all about this back-and-forth playstyle between these two teams.
Well, I mean, Fate got taken down pretty early, right, because he took a bunch of damage, the cleanup was there. Okay, we are going to have a pause coming on through for whatever reason. We'll find out what that is in a moment. Just a little bit of history lesson, a very minor one. We only have to go back a few days at this point, less than a week even, is that Seoul and Shanghai in their last meeting, first of all, it was a 3-1 finish for the Shanghai Dragons, but we did start it with Oasis, and that was a 2-1 victory in favor of Seoul on that particular Oasis as well. So in terms of starting here, it's Shanghai's choice as the highest seeded team to go to Oasis. So they're actually going to go to the map they lost against Seoul to start things out with in this series.
I mean, you know, a lot of times you drop a map to somebody that's going to be your focal point when you're doing your prep, when you're doing your VOD reviews and whatnot. So seems like they think, okay, we've got a good read on how Dynasty likes to play this map now, and now we feel comfortable taking them to it yet again. We'll see what happens, though. It's a quick little pause. Just go back into the action as we get some initial skirmishing here.
And Seoul also did, by the way, win that Gardens as well. I don't know if you remember, but Creative ended up finding a sleep dart onto Huayu's blade and the double Bayonet kill. That was, that was good times coming through. This time, Fate just dies again as the first pick coming on in, so Fate's not having a great day.
Ooh. Neither is Who Are You. Takes the Helix Rockets, Fit's got the follow-up shots, they finish him off, and it's a great start here. Confidence certainly instilled right now for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and his Prophet just going to be sitting up in the middle, poking and prodding where he can, try to get that Dragon Blade online. But every time, yes.
Fun fact. Shanghai Dragons currently have 0 final blows and 0 eliminations.
Oh, beautiful. That's not a very fun fact. Well, there you go.
Oh, that's the first one. They have one now.
It's been undone. Who Are You?
No,
I was about to mention he was actually outpacing.
Fact, they now have 1 final blow. That's the new fun fact.
Is that going to be enough, though? Fitz going to go ahead, pop the tack visor with the nano, layered in on top of it. Gets a little bit of damage, and he's trying to find Who Are You. Instead finds himself back facing the enemy support there. We'll pull away from Izayaki, who now will go ahead, invest the nano out onto the lip, who pops his own tack visors, looking for some targets. Looks like he will get smurfed by the end, so Shanghai Dragons cleaning up the fight will be able to get this flip. Fitz just going to push forward, go for the reset. Does manage to take Lip down with him. Get a little bit of extra percentage, but there's the flip at 77%.
They'll be banking the sound barrier there, so I think there was the option for Vindane to use, but opted against it, or maybe just flubbed it. We're going to be in a situation now, though, where Who Are You is more than likely going to be blading this one, so the sound barrier will definitely be coming on through. That can also support Prophet's own blade, as Lijiang does not have anything to use. So there is an opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to flip once more. Both of the tanks have primal, so I think Fate will try and delay as long as possible.
Anti was thrown in, doesn't find anything, and oh boy, he gets body blocked in the stairwell, does Prophet. Fate just going to be able to zap him to death, and I think without the Genji, Dynasty just going to look to poke and prod where they can otherwise play safe, go for the reset, so they will pull back towards the spawn.
Wow, that was a quick win for the Shanghai Dragons. Didn't cost them anything either, just a nice body block to the Prophet. Like you said, here comes that blade from Who Are You.
Yep, instantly finds Fitz, dashes in, looks for the support, he'll get one swipe out onto Prophet, one on the Smurf. Smurf again just jumping away, trying to stay safe. Fate playing forward. Knows that he's got the primal if he did get himself into a dire situation, but he was going to be just fine. So yet again, 1 kill, 1 reset, time bought.
It's in some ways a great ultimate from Who Are You and the Dragons to get a free fight win in some percentage, but it doesn't force anything out from the Dynasty. You want to force these sound barriers, you want to force a primal. You are going to get the blade now.
Yep, but it's going to be forced back as it's that anti. Doesn't have enough reinforcements there to try to keep him supported, so instead has to abandon it. The blade not going to find anything. Lip will cut down Prophet as he tries to make his exit, follows up for another kill. Now getting Fitz, now Smurf 3 for Lip. As the nano onto him from Izayaki pays dividends. Now that is the Dragons taking the lead at 83%. They still have a sound barrier and a visor.
And they play through the sound barrier Vindane as well. Vindane popped the sound barrier. I think it hit definitely more than the 2 people that I saw towards the end there. Still was enough. They're going to go for the touch here in terms of what's left on the Seoul Dynasty. Still plenty to play through. Nano Visor coming on board, but the sound barrier being there for the Shanghai Dragons can be a game winner. Lijiang has held on to this one. There's going to be a perfect moment to use this.
There's the touch. Lijiang solo beat.
Barry got blocked.
Oh my god, yeah, he can't get anybody else. It's just going to be a solo beat there on Lijiang. Now Fate going to be taken down. Lijiang somehow manages to survive despite the fact that he was antied out. Gets the kill there on the Fitz, cutting him down to size. Smurf trying to play up onto the low ground. The boop there from Vinheim. Massive. Displaces him, saves Smurf's life. Now the flip comes back in for the side of the Dynasty. They are in control of the point. They're ticking up now at 90%.
Oh my goodness, this is still going the way of Seoul. This can definitely be a Seoul win currently. Seoul plays alive, 4 versus 4, but players respawning. No tank for Seoul really hurts them at this stage.
Yeah, the leap is there from Fate. He touches the point. He goes low. Manages to escape at least for a little bit longer. Tries to get the big attack. He cannot. Profit hounds him down, but now Creative's going to be out of the fight. Vinhame, the lone support here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, trying to keep them in this fight. Smurf has rejoined the fight. Jumps up into the front, puts the bubble down in front of Lip's face. Chips away at him. This Prophet uses the recall. Still holds onto the pulse bomb. Doesn't have it yet. Lijiang falling low. Izayaki going to throw the nano. Goes out on the lip now. Lijiang going to be eliminated. The pulse bomb after Prophet. Not going to find anything. Izayaki strikes him down. The fight is being won. The point flip is there. The Dynasty cannot recontest. And it's 199% as the Dragons will take Garden.
I thought for sure Seoul were going to get that one when they blocked Lijiang's beat. He only used a sound barrier on himself, and I think the only way that can happen is either A, he got knocked back into an area where the sound barrier LOS didn't see anybody, or Smurf bubbled it. Smurf had to have bubbled it, in my opinion. There's no way Lijiang otherwise would have had a solo sound barrier. I don't know if we're going to ever find out what happened there, but that was an insane play from Seoul Dynasty in either case to what I have to assume forced Lijiang a solo beat there. However, the fact that Dragons got Smurf down in that trade, I was thinking it was probably still fine for Seoul, but the lack of attack meant that Seoul couldn't contest for ground as effectively as Shanghai Dragons with Fate. And eventually, when we get down to it, Nano onto, I believe it was Lip. Lijiang might have died, but Dragons still end up getting all these kills. They recovered, they just clutched out. It's the clutch Dragons again.
Well, it's Lijiang doing Lijiang things. Just going to be dead off the rip as Dynasty look to win the initial fight yet again. Nade goes out. Who are you? Going to be anti there for the moment. Fate falling low. Push around the corner. They're looking for the elimination. The jump forward from Smurf. But oh boy, he gives his life for the kill. Now Vinhame, who chased forward with him, ends up falling as well. Fate, or Lip rather, finding two. Who are you? Getting another. That's going to be the trade up, and that is going to be the first cap going to the Dragons.
And Lip just really, I think, outperforming Fitz so far on this map, and that's been kind of the story throughout the season so far in 2022. I mean, Fitz had been trying to catch up to Lip for, I think, the better part of a year and a half, if not 2 years now, but Lip just always seems to be that slightly ahead in terms of where his output is, even on the Soldier today. So here we go, first fight win for the Dragons, despite losing Lijiang. That's what I'm talking about. They clutch on out, 4 versus 5. They still get that win.
Yep, Fate diving into the back. Bubble going to be used. They need some peel for him. Still will help lead to a kill on a Vinhame, as well as Creative. The supports out of the fight as Who Are You slices and dices his way to those eliminations. Who Are You himself under fire, now dead. As the flip can come through, as the team kill is achieved. 37% online here for the side of the Dragons, as Dynasty gain control.
And it's the double supports down for the Seoul Dynasty, but between the DPS and Smurf, they managed to trade back lines. And more effectively as well for ultimately a 3 versus 2 where Who Are You is the only damage dealer remaining. Getting Lip down, I think, was the key target there for the Seoul Dynasty. Had been putting out so much damage. You've got to take him down as a primary target. If that can happen, suddenly things look a lot better. Fitz, who didn't die, because he's alive, will end up getting the visor first.
Okay, well, they're going to use the blade first and foremost. Hold on to the visor for a little bit longer, but actually, Who Are You just shuts them both down. Prophet and Fitz dead. Now the blade from him gets rid of Creative. Who Are You putting the team on his back? Doesn't quite get the kill there on the Smurf. Lip says, hey, I'm here. I need to do something as well. Cleans up the other two, but it's a team kill in response. And Dynasty, they get close, but they can't even take the lead. It's right back into control of the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Because you have a situation where Seoul probably have the opportunity to actually push on in, get something done. Also, Nano Visor as well, right, if I'm not mistaken there, but, you know, Who Are You will still outplay it. I think Who Are You might have also been nanoed. In either case, Who Are You comes out as the superior Genji of that matchup, and now it's Lip's turn to go hard.
The Visor going, Fate going to be taking a nap. Lip running out of targets here as Smurf into the back lines is trying to get this elimination on Izayaki, but the beat is perfectly timed there from Lijiang to try to keep everybody alive. They can also maybe outlast this anti-nade, but it seems like no, Fitz with the Visor will find Izayaki. Fate popping the Primal, now going to be taking a nap. Over on the side, Sliver will clean up Prophet. Who Are You? Sliver of HP remaining, makes his exit. Lijiang getting the boop here on the Smurf means that he cannot pursue any deeper. As he looks for a little bit more, and we're getting dire straits now for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, who need to get this flip imminently.
Not quite there just yet.
Okay.
Okay, finally. I mean, 85% for the Shanghai Dragons. They're not quite on final fight territory just yet. They need to build up some more ultimates as well, so we're into a bit of a rebuilding phase for the Dragons. It'll take a fight or more to get there. Creative can definitely win a fight off the back of this nano if it is applied to probably, I would say, Prophet here. But I mean, Dragon's neutral game is pretty darn good as well. And Izayaki is very steadily catching up on that nano as well.
That he is, just 13% away, couple tags. And he'll have it. Profit falling low, drops down into the pit, grabs that Mega Pack. Now at the Fitz, pushing the corner, looking for some kills. Looking to sleep down onto Lip, but he gets woken right back up. Now Fitz going to be juggled into the corner, and Lip will find two. Creative and Fitz both going to fall, and he says, "You have overstepped." Seoul Dynasty cuts them down to size. Smurf locked in the corner, trying to exit with the likes of Vindame, but they will not be allowed. They get up to 79% or so here. The flip will come in 80. There you have it. And the Dragons retake control yet again.
Lip waking up there is like an Illidan you are not prepared moment, I swear to God. Just the 4K coming on through, doesn't even pop the visor. Final fight now for sure off the back of one Nano. It seemed like, again, Seoul could have been in the lead there, but Easy can catch up with the Nano. That
Smurf sleeping.
sort of posthumous Nano coming on through was enough.
Profit dead.
Smurf asleep.
Woken up and yeah, put right back down on the ground. Who are you with the two final kills there as the Shanghai Dragons? I mean, he's talking about it. You drop this map to the Seoul Dynasty, you focus on it, you figure out their play style, you say, okay, we can win this now. They do. 2-0 for them. Very back and forth throughout the two rounds, but they get it fairly cleanly there on University to close it out and start things off 1-0.
Oh, that. You guys at home didn't see it, but the play of the match there, as dictated by the Overwatch client, it was who I use Dragon Nanoblade shutdown on Profit as well. Seeing it from his POV, oh, okay, that was pretty hot. That was well deserved. And for Dragons, I mean, compared to where we were before, last time, Seoul Dynasty win Oasis, 2-1 scoreline Oasis as well. This time, 2-0 for Dragons on Oasis, and were they behind at various points? Absolutely. Did they manage to recover and clutch anyway? Yeah, that's the Dragons' MO. That's the Dragons' identity. You can never really just safely get them down. It always seems like even if you have an ultimate advantage, even if you have a player advantage, it's not enough. Dragons still win.
Yep, and Lip, he might be on the ground, but he's taking a nap. You got to kill him and leave him on the ground, because if he gets woken up, then it's like hitting the second phase of a Dark Souls boss when you didn't know it was even coming. The guy just wakes up and absolutely tears people apart. They ran out of flasks, they had no way to heal, and they ended up dying, and now they have to go again. Seoul Dynasty will have their map pick. I believe it looks like they're going to take us to Midtown for Hybrid. We'll see if they can get the win there. Maybe have some Profit May coming through as well for them. We'll have to wait and find out, though, as we go into a quick little break. But don't go anywhere, guys. The back and forth action is going to continue in just a few. And we are back and about to go into map number 2 here in our second series of the evening. 1-0 lead now for the Shanghai Dragons as they somewhat cleanly take Oasis with a 2-0. Now we turn our sights over to the map pick of the Seoul Dynasty. They have elected to take us into Midtown yet again, so we get this in our second series as well. But I'd like to see how this looks for Dynasty. Obviously, they're going to be feeling confident going into it. Can they do to Dragons what Spark did to Fusion? That is the question.
Well, it depends. You know, is anybody going to play Ryan out of these two teams? Smurf could probably go there if he wants to, but if you really want to unlock, I think the good parts of this roster, keep Smurf on a Winston, keep Prophet on a Genji, right, I think, for the Seoul Dynasty. And just as we head into this map as well, I mean, talking about the tank players, I actually want to highlight a very small micro play that ended up having a huge difference as well on that last map when we were on University. But when Lip got slept and was on basically 1 HP, first of all, the nano damage reduction helped him survive, but Fate actually also dropped a bubble on top of Lip that blocked Fitz's damage from getting the execution. So in terms of killing Lip while sleeping, they tried, but the peel from the Dragons was unbelievable. So that definitely helped Lip and get the Dragons over across the line for that massive clutch towards the end.
Well, big plays and great coordination there from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, just showing that they are, in fact, the hive mind still. And Lip hits the floor, everybody comes to protect him because they know that Lip, always a pretty good win condition to put your money on. Now we'll enter into Midtown, though, see what they got for us. Who are you is showing the Echo for a moment. Looks like he's just saying, nah, we just keep playing the Genji. It's been going pretty damn well. We'll stick with it.
No reason to really change too much here. I mean, when I look over towards the Seoul side of things as well, do they want to maybe change something up? They could take a risk, but it is a risk. Opening a lineup here for Izuyaki as well, just trying to line it up with all the flying vehicles ahead. So, you know, maybe like 10% extra ult charge if that lands properly.
Okay, Smurf
does not.
Looks like waiting for a call. Looks like it will be the Winston coming through. Prophet, I thought maybe we would see that May Reinhardt here from the Dynasty on the attack. Not to be.
Hard to practice that. I mean, that's the problem for, I think, with a lot of the APAC teams, is like, it's practicing Rhine. You know, it's just not the region for practicing Rhine, similar to how last year in NA it wasn't the region to practice the ball, right? Tracer, however, for Prophet is one of his greatest hits. You know, I think this is where most of Seoul's success has come from. Despite being pretty good at the Genji, Seoul has played a lot more Tracer than Genji so far.
Well, Smurf will find an opening kill. Who are you going to be taking down? Lip was also slept in the meantime, so they can't get the punish. They take Smurf down to about half HP. For now, though, he will be rejoining in with the rest of the squad very shortly as the respawn has come in. Recall used now by Prophet. Gets in on top of Fate. They find the elimination at the cost of Fitz. They can start making their way to the point here perhaps, but as I say that, Lip, well, yeah, he's just going to go ahead and shut it down. So Smurf now gone. No point presence whatsoever found for the Dynasty yet.
I mean, look at the ult charge difference between Lip and Fitz as well. Namely, Lip did actually kill Fitz in a 1v1. And that's going to cost Fitz a lot of time to get back and to start charging again. So the Vice is going to be up soon. It's going to be a Nano Vice because Izuyaki's also ahead of Creative. With the trade of the tanks, I mean, that makes all the difference. You get Fate down, but you can't lose Smurf. If you lose Smurf, then you don't have an advantage anymore. You're at the sort of stage now where a minute 30 gone, not a tick taken, Shanghai solid, and the Nano already used.
Smurf needs some help here, it would seem, as he tries to just hide behind the pillar. Will manage to stay alive. The Nano Boo's going to be committed to the fight there, and he gets right in on top of Lip. Shuts him down. Now they have a window of opportunity to get onto the point where that tack visor is not available for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. There's the team still playing forward, but now Fate going to be taken out of the equation as well by the pulse bomb from Prophet. They leap off of the point, though. Anti goes out onto 2. As they hide inside of the fire station, they will be okay. First tick now coming up. Fate going to be coming back. Primal Rage at the ready. Let's see if they can try to turn this or if they even want to take the fight, because right now they're not committing to it.
I mean, Fate has to be here, right? So they've given away 2 ticks for the fact that Smurf can return. Well, rather, Fate can return. Vice being popped by Lip here. Fate still has a primal. We're waiting for Vindame to maybe use a beat here to save the day.
Oh, Izuyaki. He was getting juggled around, but actually manages to connect the sleep as well as the anti there on the Smurf. Take him down to about half HP. Now it's going to be beat for beat. Lijiang using his just a little bit sooner. And who are you? Absolutely gets destroyed. Everybody gets right on top of the enemy Genji. They find the elimination. Fitz narrowly survives. And somehow to push back out onto the point here. Looking to take down Lijiang. He's playing fairly elusively, but with this Prophet's duo, they will eventually get on top of him, get the other support, and get the cap on point A. 3 minutes 45 in the time bank.
I mean, all this because Lip oversteps with the nano. That actually seemed like a bit of a mistake. Okay, you want to nano Lip, but at the same time, at that, he's just kind of front-lining, right? He runs towards the rest of Seoul Dynasty. They respond with their own nano, and then Lip gets chased down, killed by Smurf and everybody else from the Seoul Dynasty. That entirely will cost you the point. It's good that Shanghai Dragons came back, gave away 2 techs, force ultimates, right? But they lose so much more for that, and the snowball continues at this point with Prophet's opening kill.
Yeah, I mean, Prophet starting to get these sticks on the regular is a pretty terrifying thing if you're a Dragons fan. 3 minutes remaining as they go ahead and they make their way down into the underpass. Prophet just going to be guiding the cart along as they gain control of the high ground. Free pushing.
And they have underpass and they have the high ground. I mean, they have everything currently because of that 1 kill. Dragons have to pop backwards, and Nano will save bits.
And it does. Can he get the kill, though? They take Fate low. The anti's out on him. He's got a sliver of HP remaining, but now who are you? Going to be nanoed up with the Dragon Blade in hand. Hoop back there from Vinheim as he tries to stay alive. Or you just, again, trying to get right on top of him, but he cannot out-damage the healing that's coming through, it would seem. So Cart still contested there for the moment, but Vinheim eventually will fall as Lip rejoins.
I mean, yeah, that's the other thing as well, right? Because your main tank is on low HP. There's not going to be another contest there. You're down members now. Okay, the Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade from Who Are You doesn't find the most members, but because Lip also converts one, it's enough for the Dragons to maintain control again, and we bleed the timer down further. So despite, I think, Dragons not having the cleanest defense on A after, I think, stalling for a long time, but then overstepping with Lip, this is a clean reset for them where they can have the visor again.
Yeah, still need to try to gain full control of this high ground, but then again, maybe not. They'll just get Prophet on the flank. And I'll dive back in, Lip under a little bit of pressure, Sleep Dart connecting for just a moment, and Smurf unable to leap out, just collides in with the door frame, and he will stay there. Fate going to be traded out, but oh my goodness, Lip. Okay, all right, yep. Some nice tracking. I mean, that's actual, unironic, beautiful tracking from Lip. Comes up with 2 more kills.
Let me drop into, I think this is a pretty fun fact. I was just going to say fact, but all of them are usually pretty fun. Lip has 8 final blows. The Dragons in their entire team so far has 11. So 8 out of 11 is just Lip. Is that like a mega deadlift? I don't even know. He's got above 11,000 damage per 10 as well. Way above everybody else in the server. Lip is pounding currently. Best player of these 10 in the current server.
Yeah, it would seem so. Still holds on to this tac visor that's been in his pocket for a while. Hasn't really felt the need to pop it. Drops down to the low ground, shoves Prophet away, forces him to go collect another health pack. Prophet again going to be pressuring the cart. Really does have that pulse bomb available. Dive into the back line there from Fate. This decent amount of pressure being pushed on the pits. He's going to have to reposition.
Nearly 5 ults for Seoul.
Both teams, actually. One now coming up, a second one going to be used. The Nano as well. They're just going to dump everything, it would seem, other than that pulse bomb so far. Falling low is Smurf. Sleep out, has to get himself to safety. Manages to stay alive at least for now, but now picks up one. Who are you going to be taken down? The advantage very much there for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. It seems like they should be able to complete this push right here, right now, but Fate trying to buy some more time. The Primal's still going to be rolling from him for a little bit longer. The stick is going to be good, but Lijiang Tower says, I will take you down with me. The bloodthirsty support, he doesn't care if he gives his life for it. As long as he gets the kill, he's going to be satisfied. He gets that elimination on the Prophet, and that is enough for the Dynasty to say, okay, we have to disengage.
But there's 10 seconds remaining, so they have to go back in. Smurf survived the entire time, so they survive against Lips. Nano Visor, or just a Visor even, because Smurf took the brunt of the damage, doesn't go down. Here we go again, though. That Prophet self-death from the push ends up being pretty big. Oh no, you're right.
The boom is absolutely beautiful. Smurf tries to leap in. They say no. Lijiang Tower denies him access. And even if they could get to the cart there, the Dragon Blade was just pulled from Who Are You. There's no support ultimates to work with there to try to survive that. So who knows what could have happened. But that is great gatekeeping from Lijiang Tower. He shuts that down.
And even, again, you go back to Lijiang Tower's conversation here, he shut down 2 things. He shuts down the touch, but he also, again, kills Prophet with his own pulse bombs. It's a 1-for-1 trade. And as we start to head to OT, the payload positioning is so far forward that now the defensive team of Shanghai Dragons actually have a respawn advantage, especially in the OT. So we're looking at a situation where, despite Seoul kind of winning the fight, they reset at about 15 seconds remaining. Which sucks. You don't want to have to do that, but they had to. You see all these Shanghai members coming back through spawn, and that's one of the biggest Shanghai-isms that we have in this sort of matchup where you just have, we'll see this boop again, by the way, this will be the final boop coming in, which is that even when you're winning against Shanghai, are you really winning? Because it still feels like you're losing. It still feels like you haven't quite done enough, and Shanghai somehow still win when they're losing.
Well, Wonderfully done there. And you can see through that replay the communication coming through. Lijiang, he's moving up to the high ground, getting ready to have that very same boop versus Smurf. The call comes in that he's approaching through the underpass. He rotates down, gets the boop off, stops the touch. Wonderfully and perfectly done. Is it the lineup from Creative? It actually does end up connecting through it. I think a little bit late, but it seems like Who Are You still going to get clipped by it in the end.
So no changes in terms of composition here. Prophet still staying on the Tracer. Tracer Soldier combo versus the Soldier Genji combo. And really, I think when you look at the Dragons lineup, that's kind of best across the board in terms of what they want to be playing. Maybe only for Izuyaki to go to Zen will be a slight improvement in terms of what he would prefer to play. See how this attack goes, though. Noticeably, Lip has been outpacing Fitz, but Fitz gets to defend his position here, where he gets, you would imagine, superior line of sight.
Well, for now, Lip is still ahead. Not by too much, but Prophet, I believe, actually getting slept out by Izuyaki. They get the quick pick. That's a big opening now for the side of the Dragons as they get ready to assault the point. Smurf on the flank, now going to be tagged low. Antied out, he's dead. Who Are You scoops the kill. Lip finds Fitz. And that might just be point A here in near record time for the side of the Dragons. They'll start making their way forward. Creative taking a couple tags on the back end.
Izuyaki just opened up the entire point. I don't know if it was a slink dart onto Prophet, but he certainly got the kill onto Prophet. Then the nade onto Smurf as well confirms that one. And really, when you have a team like this, everybody looks like a playmaker. Already one tick coming on through. Still waiting for first ultimate, but Izuyaki's way ahead of Creative now.
Okay, good pressure on Lip. They managed to find that kill. Be a lot of damage now taken out of the fray, and as they get on top of Fate, it seems like the Dynasty may have just recovered this. Who Are You? Pressured out as well, gets some good damage down to Prophet, but he's got the recall to rely on. And Who Are You? Cannot find the kill. Smurf will get him in the end. That's 2 minutes, 23 seconds now left for the Dragons.
So you're going to need to see a fast nano play coming through from the Dragons here. Creative should be able to respond. So as long as the Seoul Dynasty can sort of take the initial brunt of the nano, they will be able to respond very quickly. Other ultimates are looking pretty even. Prophet with the Pulse Bomb is also pretty large here as well, because we can drag this point, fight towards the point where Prophet can do something with that. But he is actually looking for a backstab.
Oh, he's sneaking, and then he gets it. Yep, Izuyaki going to be taken out of the fray before he can use the nano. So just good time by as they look for some additional staggers. Hitting his head there on the top of the banister is Fate, but he will make it out safely.
A good play to slow things down. I mean, that's going to buy a ton of time for Seoul Dynasty to get ultimates. Now they have nearly 4 ultimates in the bank. A couple still coming online for the Dragons soon. Okay, they've spotted Prophet. They've not just spotted, they killed him.
Yeah, Who Are You? Getting the elimination is absolutely massive. Fate's still low for the time being, but it's not under fire, so still
Fate
feeling comfortable enough. And oh man, he
God.
takes it so low before he pops that primal. Fate limit testing just a little bit there. Manages to push it just about as far as he can possibly go. Has the rest of the Dynasty zoned into the back. Takes a little bit of damage and will get hounded down. Good chase comes in. Yeah, Fitz finding the kill. Now they're out onto the point. Prophet rejoins, nearly dies, but has the recall this time. Keeps himself alive. The nano onto Fitz. Helps shove back the Dragons. They buy more time due to the Dynasty. A minute remaining here for the Dragons, but so many ultimates available.
That seemed like a weird play from the Dragons, because Fate had to, I guess he was forced to Primal, plays a Primal pretty deep. Shanghai starts to take positioning, but no further ultimates. They don't try nano play, they don't try nano visor, they don't try and get offensive at all. They had no actual kill pressure, so despite staying alive for a while, no ability to get frags. As Seoul Dynasty dragged the fight back towards the point, Lijiang could have sound barrier, we save Fate, then play the nano into one of your offensive abilities, and a fight can start for the Dragons. Instead, everyone just slowly dies. Fate dies, Lijiang dies, and Dragons reset.
Okay, well, there's the nano. It's not going to go onto one of the offensive abilities. It's actually onto Fate yet again to just try to keep him alive. We didn't see it last time. This time, it does keep him in the fight. Second tick getting ready to come through here from the side of the Dragons. As the Dynasty can still try to play onto the point. Bionade goes down. Who Are You? And Fate going to be clipped by that. Now the sound barrier comes in. The tag fighters are going to be layered in. The Dragons are throwing everything that they have
no kills
at this point to try to get some eliminations, to try to open it up. And so far, it has not bared any fruit for them. Fate instead is going to be the one who falls and gets traded out. Smurf will go down. Who Are You? Just dashing around, just trying to stay elusive, trying to find an opening kill, but so far has been unable to do so. Lijiang and Izuyaki under fire. Izuyaki falling lower and lower, but Lip turns his sights to the side, finds Creative. Now Fit's going to be eliminated. The Dragons might just be able to push through. They're looking for Vinhame. Who Are You's got him off the back of the damage there from Lip. Prophet going to be forced to recall. He tries to buy some more time, but Lip punches him in the mouth, puts him down on his rear, and the point cap will at last come through for the side of the Dragons. 2.5 minutes added to the time bank.
Super winnable for Seoul, though, because we dragged that one into the OT. That's exactly the goal for Seoul. If you can't get the A-hold, you are going to go for the maximum time burnt off the clock, which is to push into the OT.
And great plays by Smurf, I gotta say. You know, Smurf did the most that he could there. You see the dive coming on through from Fate and Who Are You. Smurf counter dives the opposing backline. Lib has to spend his entire visor just on a Smurf. We trade both tanks, and then in the neutral, that's when Lip and Who Are You win the fight overall for the Shanghai Dragons. Now, opportunity again. Nano online first for Creative. Iziaki trailing by 15.
Smurf just playing up here, tucked away in the high ground, poking and prodding where he can with his little zaps. Not getting too much, and does get poked back in return. Cart starting to shift its way down to the other pass. Prophet moves forward, keeps it contested at least for the time being. Pulse bomb at the ready. He's going to dash forward. He's looking for a target. He's not going to be able to get it. Maybe Lijiang was going to get clipped there in the end. He does not. Nanovisor goes through for Lip. He's looking for a target. The first one's going to be Fitz. Finds the elimination. Prophet making his exit. His Smurf now is stuck in no man's land. Ends up falling down. This is a massive opening for the Dragons on the push.
And they might get one more here there as well. Creative spotted. No way they let him get away. Surely, okay, they can't chase any further than that. Great job by Creative to stay alive. Prophet can't say the same. I think he went aggressive there. It looked like he died on the backline, going for a kill or something onto Iziaki. Maybe he was trying to stall the payload, but it cost him his life, and we're about to enter the final fight. 2 ultimates into 3 ultimates potentially online for the Dragons. Far less for the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, they need Mayhem to get this Soundberry up quickly. If he dies in this fight before he can drop the beat, then that could be absolutely devastating for them. Fate pressured low. That's going to be the primal pop now as he tries to keep them contained inside of Grand Central. Who are you? Down to a sliver of HP. Prophet tries to pursue for the elimination, but he cannot get it. The cart in the meantime, 1.21 meters left away. Vinheim just gets the kill. Lijiang, he's going to be taken down. He can't get the beat out. Oh my god, it's absolutely massive from Vinheim. Gets the initial pick. Now, who are you going to be taken out of the fray as well? Fate has fallen. The Dragons need to reset right now. They have one more opportunity.
That was the most insane outplay. How did Vinheim do that? Lijiang straight up Ajax this beat. There was no beat. It got cancelled. Vinheim killed him mid-beat. Holy crap. Who Are You now has to save the day. Fate comes out on the ball to contest. That would have been Shanghai's win. They had the sound barrier going into a blade. Everything working in their favor, but this is now dire straits.
He rolls up, he gets a touch. Smurf going to be there. He does have the primal range. Blade's going to be pulled from Who Are You first and foremost. Smurf goes in with the primal, says, okay, I've got the Soldier 76. I'm juggling him around. I'm trying to get the eliminations, but he is not playing the card, and they're going to need him there in just a moment. Lip goes down, though, so does Fate. Dragons might not be able to make this happen. Lijiang going to be eliminated. The Anti is out. Oh no, Who Are You? They just need to get the Genji. He will get Vinheim. He will get Creative, but he cannot get the map win. Prophet will celebrate by killing himself off with yet another pulse bomb here at the end, as the Dynasty will successfully hold in front of point B, and they will go ahead and tie this up.
My goodness. My heart skipped a beat.
Oh,
that was, again, you're not going to see this, but we're about this. Oh, no, we're not. We just... Could this be it? We're gonna get it. Yeah, he just flies in. I can tell you what happened. You won't see it in the replay just yet, but Vinheim literally just flew into Lijiang and killed him. I think it was a combination of like, yeah, he drops his own beat, fires a bunch of shots, speeds into Lijiang, has a punch there as well, and then kills Lijiang. I don't think he planned to kill Lijiang mid-beat and get the Ajax in there, but it just ended up happening because Lijiang was going for the beat at the same time as Vinheim flying on through. And that's what wins Seoul the map. That is ultimately what will win Seoul the map.
Well, utterly incredible, and on the slimmest of margins, and the heroic plays of Vinheim that I think shocked even himself. They managed to make it happen. They successfully hold in front of point B, their pick of Midtown, working out for them. Now we find ourselves tied up at 1-1. Looks like Route 66 is going to be our escort selection, though, for the Shanghai Dragons. We'll see if they can take a lead or if the Seoul Dynasty can catch them by surprise when we return. Well, 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 here we are, tied up 1-1. These teams seemingly fated to go to the distance, and I hope that it absolutely happens. Crazy, crazy map, and Vinheim's heroics really getting them across the line. Lijiang giveth, he taketh away. He gets the denial on the contest there on Dynasty's attack, and then he ends up dying with a beat in his hands. But Vinheim looks good, and I tell you what, Avril, when I have a kid, I want to send them to the Seoul Dynasty Toby Center for kids who can't play Lucio good and want to learn to play Lucio good and other stuff too. It was wonderfully done by Vinheim as he continues to make a fantastic name for himself and put himself in contention, keep himself in that conversation for Rookie of the Year.
Oh, could a main support player ever win? That'll be
amazing.
Crazy. It'll be amazing because we have like 1,000,001 amazing DPS players in that rookie position. Well, as a rookie this year, so a lot of competition. It's like the best year to be a rookie and the worst year to be a rookie because everyone is so good as a rookie this year around. But
yeah,
well, it is so ironic that the defense of Lucio in the final fight on B is the one that ends up making the difference. Like you said, Lijiang on his B defense, Vinheim on his B defense. I also have to kind of give credit to Seoul overall for how long they stalled out A. They forced until the OT, so there wasn't a lot of time for Dragons to get across the line for B. If Dragons had another minute to play with without the extra stalling that happened, then okay, Lijiang Ajax's beat, lose the sound barrier, they reset the fight, but it's cool, it's Dragons. They get to come back for one more fight, maybe they can still get it because there's no more time left due to the fact that they lost all the time on A. That also contributes to the difference there as well. So a couple things compounding into what the final result ended up being.
Well, now tied up 1-1, and with the map pick coming through for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, they've elected us, as mentioned, to take us into Route 66. So can still probably anticipate a lot of that Winston v. Winston matchup here, especially, you know, around the first 2 points, even in the point C, if we can get that far. Still a decent potential to see that matchup. So that Smurf v. Fate front line very much going to likely continue in the same way that we've been seeing. It's all about who can execute the dives a little bit better. It's been back and forth in that regard. Prophet looking overall great there on Midtown, not finding as much value when he's playing the Genji versus, you know, Lip and Who Are You. So we'll see how they fare going into this third map and who's going to be able to move up to 1 in the series.
And I think as well, when you look at a map like Dorado, one thing I like about Smurf in this lineup, not that there's an alternative realistically for Seoul, is that when you get to the C point and Winston's value starts to diminish greatly, you can actually go towards the Zarya, which Smurf has shown plenty of proficiency on so far. And that's not something I think that Fate will be able to do, being that the Dragons have still kept Fate and Void's hero pools pretty separate in terms of Fate sticking to all the main tank heroes, Void sticking to all the off-tank heroes. Escort is Shanghai's best map type against Seoul, though. 72% win rate overall, 13-5 all-time. That's an insane stat scorecard.
Yeah, and you have to kind of question how many of those 5 wins were against the 2018 Dragons, you know, for the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
The 040, yeah.
When did that kind of come to, you know, where did they accumulate those numbers from? Because something tells me that the more modern iteration of Dragons is where the lion's share of those wins came from, and the old version of the Dragons is where the majority of those losses came from. So if you kind of were to compartmentalize or disconnect the 2018 season, I think that looks like an even more dominating figure than the what it really shows in the overall perspective.
I'm going to point out one thing here, and that's that Lipper's not going to start on the Widowmaker on defense. I think most of the hitscan players prefer to actually start on the Soldier, a lot more stable, and more consistent overall. If we had gone to maybe Circuit Royale, you would have probably seen first of all Void being subbed in, but also then Lip play the Widowmaker. So there's going to be another Soldier battle. Prophet will go off the Tracer, back on towards the Genji for this map.
All right, let's see if we can have a bit more impact, because kind of got diffed a bit there by Who Are You on Oasis. Seemingly, though, the blood's been flowing now for the side of the Dynasty. Maybe just needed that initial map to try to wake up a bit. For now, the deflect is going to be used. Who Are You under a bit of fire, and Vinheim will go ahead and get that opening elimination. Lip again going to be taking a nap here on the high ground. There's the dive, there's the execution. Vinheim finds the final blow yet again. And now Fate will fall, and that is basically cracked open point A here for the side of the Dynasty.
And currently, Vinheim has the most final blows for Seoul at this exact moment in time. So if we just pause and freeze here in the game right now, Vinheim currently has the most final blows in the entire server. So it opens up on both Lip and Who Are You. Just let your Lucio get the 2 frags on the the star DPS players and Dragons. It just happens.
Well, they're looking for the recontest. Just a couple more meters left to go as Who Are You? Playing the cart for now. We'll be joined by Fate. Big Bionade out there onto the high ground, though. Clips onto 3. Lip, Who Are You, and Izayaki all need to hide. Looks like they will be able to survive here for a little bit longer.
Fate's
but Fitz very much outpacing towards this visor. And there's the dashes. Prophet getting the resets, getting the kills. Lijiang on Who Are You now dead. Now he moves up to the high ground looking to further contest as the cart will get capped. And it's just shy of 5 minutes remaining here for the side of the Dynasty on this push.
Lip going down late here as well by, you know, still being in a position to be dived. Although I think, to be fair, he probably wasn't going to run far enough away to get out at that stage. But you can see the sort of flowchart there. Shanghai Dragons, they got triple or quadruple bionated. Most of them had to hide. Fate built up a primal in the same time, so he ends up primaling, but 2 members go down anyway. Had members from Shanghai Dragons survived, they could actually use the Fate primal to maybe either A, force ultimates from Seoul, or B, even turn the fight around and win. But now Seoul cap A for free, and they get a primal, and they got 5 ultimates. So Seoul are really far ahead, like extremely far ahead.
Yeah, and Fate looking to push up onto the high grounds. Great boop there from Vinhaim to deny him access. Fitz with the visor. He's looking for the 5K, and he is going to get it. Absolutely tears them to shreds. 2 ults, 5 kills, no problem. The math adds up right there for the side of the Dynasty as the cart continues to move unhindered.
I love the emote as well because, you know, once you get the ace, you got to do the emote. Lip's done it when he's got the ace as well. Fitz is like, it's definitely my turn. Also, Fitz is like, yeah, we're not going to let Vinhaim, the main support Lucio player, have the most final blows. It's got to be the soldier, you know, soldier. The DPS has to be the star, you know what I'm saying? So, here we go. Blades available now. Ultimate's starting to come online for the Dragons. Finally,
that sleep,
in the final
not
hour.
going to connect. Smurf's still going to be sit for now. They put that sleep dart on cooldown. Primal going to be popped as he just shoves them back into the interior. Cart just 1.79 meters left to go. The beat going to be coming through second for the side of Vinhaim, and Prophet gets a 2-for-1 special with the blade. He looks for a 3rd kill. Lip will cut him down with the Helix Rockets, but the damage is done. Lip is the only one limping away from the fight. It's 4:45 moving into the garage, and Lip dies at the back end, so there's some further stagger.
I feel like we're watching a different team now. Like the Dragons that just won previous maps, they're not here currently. You know, you knock on the door, no one's currently home. There's a total of 1 final blow from the entire Dragon squad. And that's on Lip so far, this entire defense. So that's got to change pretty quick snap. 18 final blows total for Seoul Dynasty. It's been a complete roll through. Dynasty have barely had to do too much. Who are you finally getting some kills?
Yeah, finally getting his hands put to work here. He'll come up with 4 kills for himself. Yeah, very nicely done. Off the back of just basically, you know, Nano being invested.
You know what?
So they will stop the cart, but it's still 4 minutes to chew through.
It will be the most Seoul and Dragons thing in the world right now if Dragons actually complete a hold on to C despite there being 4 minutes. That would be the most classic Dragons thing. You get rolled on A and B, but you somehow just still win. Even when you're losing, you're winning. That's the Dragons' MO. But Seoul give themselves a brilliant opportunity here to actually finish capping with a good time back.
Okay, the blade's going to be pulled, but there's nobody really playing forward, and I don't think Who Are You wants to go that deep in. Bionade will go through, clips onto Vinhaim, and it helps keep Who Are You alive, but otherwise the blade is not going to find too much other than to zone back the members of the Dynasty, so they'll say, cool, glad you used that, thank you so much.
Good disengage. That's what you want to see.
Anti down on the Fate, they're going to try to force the Primal, they will be able to do so. The Sleep Dart not going to connect, so now they have to deal with the Raging Monkey. Scientist, sorry. Is at the ready. Not pulling the trigger on it yet. Instead, counter dive comes back through. Fate going in a bit too deep, but Izayaki will manage to find Vinhaim, and Who Are You? Gets on top of Creative, so that's the support side of the fight. So even though they lose out on Fate, they still manage to trade up.
I think that's great because, you know, Fate will give his life away, but the rest of the divers from Shanghai Dragons will connect anyway. You can see from Seoul's POV, their game plan is, all right, we will receive Fate, his primal will end, we'll deal with him, and when that's done, we're going to go back in and play our ultimates, namely the Nano Visor here. But they didn't expect the Who Are You flank as well, coming from the right side, from deep in his POV. That gets to kill the Creative, and Dame's already dead, and suddenly the fight's over.
They start making their way in, Fate having to leap out. Just get steadily healed up here by Lijiang, who wants to have that sound barrier online, take another crack at it. He himself under some fire. Fitz trying to get that elimination, but yeah, the cart for now moving up unhindered. And Who Are You trying to get up on the high ground to contest? He's just going to fall over. Now there's no deflect to help defend here. Bionade out onto the supports of the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but nobody can get into the back line to try to take them out. Fitz just keeping everybody locked into position, but now Lip is going to try to counteract this. Moves forward, finds through with attack visor of his own. And Fitz now is out in no man's land, playing around the Mega Pack. Will be able to grab it for just a moment with the re-arrival of Who Are You. They get the elimination. The cart now going to be halted once more.
It's like I said, even when Dragons are losing, they're actually winning. That was a player advantage for the Seoul Dynasty. They pull the trigger when they need to as well. Fix gets the opening kill, 5 versus 4. Nano Visor running on in. Shanghai play patiently, bide their time, waiting for respawns. Then Lip finally has a Visor coming in through, and he just wipes the floor with the Seoul Dynasty. This can't keep happening.
Okay, there's the blade out. Izayaki tries to get the sleep dart through, but it does not connect, and Profit now unleashed. Cuts down 3, looks for a little bit more. Dive into the back, they look for Lijiang. He does hold on to the sound barrier, and he needs to survive. Were he to get staggered, this would be catastrophic for the side of the Dragons. Now they have one more chance to try to contest this card. Limited
Reaper.
ultimates, though. The Reaper does get swapped
Looks
in.
coming back on the Reaper. Sound barrier should be the play here for sure. That's what they've been waiting for. Lijiang didn't want to use the sound barrier versus the blade. It's going to have to come out now. They're waiting for the bubble to pop. He's dead. What the hell was that?
Smurf just cleaves down both the supports, and now he may not even get to use it at all. Fake does have his primal rage. He's going to pop that and try to buy some more time here for them to rejoin, but he's getting focus fired. He's got to exit out around the back. He recontests there for just a moment, leaps away. Now the blade's in for Who Are You? The sound barrier does connect to the 3 members that were alive. Who Are You, though, fishing for a target. Can't find a damn thing, and Fitz will cut him down to size. 0.62 meters left to go. His Profit will be traded out and live with the Reaper. Finds Creative. Suddenly, it seems winnable here for the side of the Dragons. Another one as Fitz will fall. Vindheim finds that elimination. Now Smurf going to be anteed out on the cart. There's so many people from the Dragons that are here. 30 seconds remaining. They managed to stabilize yet again.
This cannot continue happening. This is that Aaron Paul moment where he says they can't keep getting away with it. The Dragons, they should have been done there. That would have been it. Lijiang's dead. Somehow comes out, still saves him. The Fate Primal Rage actually buys a lot of time. While you gets nothing on the blade. Great boot from Vindheim, but Lips Reaper, the rest of the Dragons still getting enough kills to stabilize. They stabilized off nothing.
Okay, it's going to be a nano onto Who Are You? No blade, obviously, to speak of here, and he's going to get focused by the hell down. His Fitz, he's got a nano of his own as well as the Visor. The Healing Shot gets find the first. Lip goes down. Now there's no DPS, rather, in the fight here for the side of the Dragons.
Should be the cap.
Personal, they get the elimination. Yeah, it seems like they should be able to make this happen, and they will. It happens in overtime, though. So yet again, it is fantastic time buying on display from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. This time bank could have been so monstrous for the Dynasty, but they drain it down to 0.
And even then, I think there was a reasonable cause as well for belief that maybe Dragons could have even maintained that defense, held, prevented the time bank at all. But when you consider the stakes at hand in terms of what did we have on the Seoul side coming into C? 4+ minutes, more than 4, right? A lot of ultimates in the bank, and it still ends up being Shanghai Dragons pulling it down to in overtime. So Seoul, they get the cap deservedly. They do get the cap deservedly because they did so well in A and B. But almost none of that transferred onto C. Like, that was a massive reset. Dragons at one point, like, they were sitting on a collective 1 final blow versus, I think, 18 final blows from Seoul. That was the stat line that I read out. And that completely flipped the script quite quickly. And now, you know, it's not like Dragons have caught up yet. They're still only on 17 and Seoul are on 34, so that's literally double. But for how difficult that was, Dragons seem to, like, turn on and off that heat just with a light switch. Just boom, instantly. C defense looking pretty good. So if they can start now, if they can start the attack now with, you know, some fire in the belly to begin with instead of kind of having to find that towards the end, Dragons can cap. And the scary part is, if they cap with any sort of time bank, they've actually had a more successful attack than the Seoul Dynasty, who walked through A and B with no issues.
Well, they get greeted by an anti-nade as the door is open to the diner. Creative just getting as much of a lead as he possibly can, but Izayaki's already very quickly caught back up. Cart now going to be brought around as no one can really play forward on this corner. Just wait for them to just go ahead and crest around the side. Lip going to reposition, moves down to the low ground here along the ledge. Starts charging forward as the bubble's going to be broken for both of these Winstons. Anti out onto 2. Fate somehow escaping with his life. Fitz will find Lijiang though, cutting the healing down significantly, but it's at the cost of Profit. So 1 for 1, and a significantly closer run back here for the side of Lijiang. Cart for now, though, gonna just be stuck in place as they look to contest the high ground. Jump up on top of Big Girls. They will displace them. And Who Are You? Antied out. And they're managing to find the whip shot kill. Look for a little bit more. Fate going way out of there. Has to inject himself.
I'll tell you what, though, I mean, this is helping Izayaki build the nano up. He's only barely ahead of Creative, but it could make a small difference here. Now that we have Who Are You back as well, I mean, 1 minute is gone, but the payload has been steadily making some progress. It's been stalled out now by Smurf being on the payload itself, so the nano should come through this fight very soon.
Lip and Profit exchanging some shots there. Fitz just a little bit further ahead. With the Fits, I should say. A little bit ahead. Nanobu's going to be used on a Who Are You, but now Fate in a bad spot, falling lower and lower. Doesn't have a Primal to try to bail himself out. Pulse bomb from Prophet. Not going to find anything. Not quite sure who he was sending that one at. Either way, doesn't find a stick, doesn't find a kill. Fate still somehow, still alive. He's trying to maybe deny them jumping on top of the Winston. He says, well, you'll die if you try to go for it. But either way, Vidham going to be taken out. It's at the cost of 2, though. Who Are You and Fate both have fallen. Lip not finding too much value here with this tack visor. Has to drop back down to the low ground there. Heal himself up with the biotic field, and now has to try to make his exit. He's playing along the ledge, and well, Smurf, he won't send them sailing off the side. He'll just cleave down 3 in the back end of the fight.
Well, thankfully, Smurf survived against Prophet's Pulse Bomb. That's good that team damage isn't enabled in this game. But now we're in a sort of situation where, okay, we do win a team fight for Seoul. 2 minutes expended here. It is costing a lot of time for the Shanghai Dragons, and when we compare that to where Seoul are at in the same stage, Seoul have already been on to beat at this stage on their attacking phase. There is an ultimate advantage on the side of the Dragons now. Sound barrier available, Primal held onto, Primal used by Smurf. Vindame has a rally, but the sound barrier should ultimately be more valuable than the rally.
Dive on the high ground there from Fate again, trying to contest, and he just gets Vindam. Vindam had the rally and everything, but they just couldn't keep him alive. Not sure where Creative was to try to get that peel. Looks like Creative just setting up for a sleep dart onto Fate, but a big opening now as he's going to have to run all the way back over here towards point A to help with the contest. Rally can arrive.
See the reset, by the way.
He gets there.
You can't even really go for a fight if you're Dragons because the entire Seoul Dynasty team is just disengaged. So they don't want to be into fight right now. They want to go for a final contest. Here come all the ultimates though.
Sound barrier is going to be used, and they still have the visor to use on the back end of this. Rally's currently rolling for the side of the Dynasty. Lip's going to be taken down. Izayaki cut down as well. Prophet dives in with the help of the rest of the team, and they will just wipe the floor with them. They don't even need to use the visor.
No. I mean, the best part about what Seoul did there is, I think, Smurf's positioning, if anyone cares to rewind back and watch, he was hiding in that sort of tunnel that we can see down in the middle of our screens here. So no one actually chased Smurf out, because if you're Dragons, you can do a couple of things. Should we chase anybody else that's not Smurf? Should we focus on the payload push? Do we just dive on Smurf and try to get that kill? Hindsight would say maybe just try and get the kill onto Smurf here, because he had the backline control. So as soon as Seoul want to start the fight, Smurf's already on that backline. Izayaki's dead instantly, so no chance of Nano left.
Nano Blade coming through. It's going to be a Nano on a Fit to try to keep him alive. Fights are rolling. Looks for a target. Fate going low. Pops the Primal Rage just in time to stay alive in the fight. Now needs to create some space for his squad. Lip as well, getting dangerously close to having another visor available. Who Are You backs off, anteed out. The cart now advancing forward here in overtime. Prophet finding one before he goes down. Lip claiming that kill. Now they're disconnected from the cart. They cannot contest it. They will be able to glide through. They get that bump up on the time bank, but they need to storm their way to point B. And right now they're suffering some staggers. Creative will fall down, though. That sends him to the far spawn point as Vidham continues to scuffle it out with Lee Jae gone a bit.
This changes the sort of directive for Shanghai slightly, as they're not even really fully in control of spawn just yet. Vindame still gets a kill on his way out, so that will slow things down a little bit for the Shanghai Dragons. They had to wait until OT to actually get that camp, which means now as we go through the rest of Dorado, it is both unlikely that they actually finish the map, but if they... Oh, sorry, Route 66. I forget. It's a nighttime map.
Nighttime
map
now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they changed which map is nighttime, and that just, that flubs everything for me. But yeah, it's unlikely they actually finish this map, but if they do, they have to do the OT as well, so it's likely we maybe get a double OT, both teams in the OT, 0 minutes to work with.
Could very well be. A little bit of a battle back and forth, but Vidham comes in, he upsets the Winston 1v1. Breaking the rules there, gets himself involved, finds the elimination. So with Fate going down, that's going to allow for Prophet to have his respawn rejoin, because now we have to have the reset for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and this is costing them precious seconds out of the time bank. 1 and 15
Can't
left.
afford this. Because you're at the sort of stage now where even capping B is going to be an OT, which means you have a 130 to cap C with, and if you only have 130 in C, you're only allowed, I think, 1 reset to finish the map, and even getting 1 reset means you're probably going to be bad on economy. So at this stage, speaking of economy, Seoul still haven't been forced to use all that much. They have all the control right now in terms of positioning, ultimates coming online. Dragons very much struggling. This is looking like a Seoul map.
And it is Smurf now into the back line. He's going to be taking a nap here. Miraculously, nobody has woken him up, so there will go the Primal Rage. Fate with his own. Gets on top of Fitz, finds that elimination, but now Lijiang and Who Are You have both fallen. He continues to zap away. Prophet arrives from the flank. They get the cleanup. And it's a Primal for a fight win here, as Fate is just going to get staggered on the back end of this, you would suspect. Just nowhere to go. And they get that elimination here. Now 25 seconds remain in the cart, rolling back. Dragons, they need to have that hive mind activate. They need to get on the same page here.
It's the economy that's the factor, though, because even when Seoul are winning, they're not having to spend ultimates. And Vindame's getting in the kills department too again. Fun fact, Vindame has more final blows than any single member of the Shanghai Dragons, including Lip. Vindame's on 12. The highest final blows in Dragons is on 9.
Well, here we go. Overtime coming through. Somebody's got to touch. I was just about to say,
No.
somebody has to touch the card! Nobody touches the card!
I don't think they were winning anyway. That's maybe pessimistic of me to say, but yeah, they could have touched the card.
It doesn't matter.
Spent ultimates, maybe. Oh yeah, you're right.
You at least play it out!
Oh, I know, I'm aware. You do at least play it out. I'm aware, but I think, you know, on some level, I can appreciate the Dragons just said, you know what, just save it for the fans. We don't need to waterboard the fans with another 3 minutes of us not doing too much here. So you just get ready for the next map. You know, sometimes it's respectable. You take the respectable L there and you say, yeah, we probably lose this map. It's whatever. You know, we go next. Seoul in the lead now, 2-1. Who knew?
Oh God. I like the way that you phrased that. It's very, very poignant. But
look, if there's a way to forfeit the map and type /GG, the Dragons just did it, right there.
Yeah, you guys can't see my face right now, but I'm at a loss. We'll never know what would have happened, what they could have gotten done with all of those ultimates. It was like 4 ults versus 4 or 5 there on the side of the Dynasty, but we'll never know what the result would have been. That's going to go into the what if category in the Overwatch cinematic universe. Oh dear, for a series that we will never produce.
I think they would have lost.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to agree, but this is a team who we praise for being so clutch in these moments, Avril, that you have to kind of consider that they possibly could have won it out. But the Dynasty, they've been on a hot streak. They storm the map, they take it to the end, they get it in OT, and then the Dragons drop the spaghetti here at the very end. There you go. Dynasty up 2-1, now at match point. This is not how I expected any of this to go. But, okay, we'll see what the hell happens as we have New Queen Street coming up next. That could be the decider. If Dynasty can win there, they clinch the series, they move on, they stay in the upper bracket. Shanghai Dragons, they need to shake off this big old Charles IX. They need to focus back up, come into this next map, and win it if they want to take us to a Game 5. And we will see if they can do that, because that is a hell of a move to recover from. But don't go anywhere, guys. That map is coming up in just a few. Just a reminder, everybody, we don't talk about Midtown. We don't talk about Route 66. That's just the way that things are after today. We're just going to go ahead and ignore it. Never happened. Never happened. We can talk about the Midtown from the second series, but we don't talk about the one from the first series. Never occurred. Route 66 wasn't played here. Dynasty now at 2-1. They find themselves at match point yet again. It's going to be the map pick here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and they have elected to take us into New Queen Street for push.
And as a reminder as well, the last time these two teams met, this is actually where the series ended 3-1 for Dragons. It was on Coliseum, and we had probably one of the best comebacks on a push map ever seen, where, just to go through it very briefly, what was it, like 2 people died, Lip and Iziaki died, Lee Jae-gon taxis 2 of them back to the point, and then they kind of clutch it out as a 5-man unit again, despite being down what is effectively 3 plays when Lee Jae-gon has to go back to spawn and they're pushing into enemy territory. So one of the craziest comebacks on a push map, a map that isn't super favored for comebacks, but the Dragons did it anyway. So we're going to New Queen Street, not Coliseum. That is going to be the map choice of the Shanghai Dragons, and I do wonder, look, we're going to see more of those kind of clutch moments coming on through. I think Dorado was not Dorado, again, the night maps are throwing me off here. Route 66 is a big outlier for the Dragons perform. That was not a good performance from Dragons at all. Seoul deservedly won that one. C9 or not, I mean, Seoul were definitely ahead in all metrics, so Seoul, I would say, demolished Shanghai Dragons on Route 66, and now look firmly in the lead to maybe clean this one up. It would be a 3-1 after Dragons have gotten their 3-1 win, but it is the Dragons, and maybe they can still make that comeback.
It would be a major reversal, and one that I think that even the Seoul Dynasty fans didn't necessarily think was going to happen. Because this team, the Dragons have for a very long time kind of been the kryptonite of the Seoul Dynasty when they are looking hot, when it does seem like they are the best ones in the region. And when it seems like they should be able to best the Dragons, they often can't quite get it done versus this squad. So this could be a huge pickup for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, is, again, this keeps them in the upper bracket if they can close it out right here, right now. And given that they would go up against the Fusion, while the Fusion have been looking better in their last few series, they can already say, like, well, we comfortably bested them. We swept them 3-0, so we should be able to really understand the tendencies of this team and potentially make our way into that grand final of the Kickoff Clash. We'll just have to wait and see, though, because they still will have their work cut out for them. The Dragons, if nothing else, while they do have these Shang 9s from time to time, have proven that they are a team that can kind of shake off those little mistakes. They can refocus back in map over map. So we'll see if they can do it here. We'll see if the Hive Mind can make its return, or if the Dynasty will just be able to get that 3-1 in reply from last week's matchup.
We've seen Dragons down in this kind of position before. They had the reverse sweep against the Guangzhou Charge in the regular season. We've seen them in positions where they're down 2-1. I think Valiant were up 2-1 against them. Tragically, the Valiant couldn't close that one out. That is the Valiant, though. Seoul's a different type of beast, right? Seoul is definitely a team that's capable of closing out the series, and that would be what you would expect here. It would be quite tragic for Seoul to not be able to get a 3-1 victory or even a 3-2 victory, but Dragons will have to do it with a couple of substitutions. So Void coming in for the push map. As you'd probably expect, Zarya pretty damn good here. Flitter to come in to play the Reaper. He's hovering the Genji, but most likely will be the Reaper, because if you wanted to play the Genji, you would have kept Ryu in.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see what they land on at the very end, but Void sticking with his Zarya almost assured. Smurf, whether or not he's going to match, we'll just have to wait and see. Or if he just wants to stick with the Winston, because he's been playing the Winston pretty damn cleanly today. So honestly, wouldn't mind it if he just sticks with his pick, and it seems like he's going to.
And this is where Prophet has to think about how much value Trace is going to get as well. We said Zest. I think I said the same thing about Zest in our previous match. He ended up doing quite well, but now you're playing up against, I think the Void Zarya should be a little bit scarier.
Well, there's the prio target for everybody who plays against the Shanghai Dragons. Taking down first and foremost is Lip from Fall. Fitz gets a nice kill. Fleta taking a nap there for just a moment, but will be safe as we still wait for the bot to unlock. Nearly get the push up the side of the map there. Void playing dangerously close to the edge. Won't manage to stay alive. Smurf going to be sleeping, woken up immediately by a right click from Void. As he just continues to zap away. Prophet going to drop down, start getting the bot moving here for the side of the Dynasty.
And Dragon's still waiting for the opportunity to walk on in. I mean, this could be it. Smurf's low HP. Flitter feels like he's got an advantage. Yes, cuts out Smurf's escape, but Smurf still gets a lot of healing back from his teammates anyway. Ultimate's starting to come online now. Fitz fire hit a Lip, which didn't really happen for most of the series, but he firmly is in that position currently. Bot's been reset here by the Shanghai Dragons, so Seoul Dynasty need to find control again as their ultimates start to come online.
Yeah, Vindham and Profits swinging around the flank there. Will manage to stop the bot and its track before it can get too much damage. Looking for the stick, not going to be able to find it. Can't get any damage off of it either. Profit, the near miss. Vindham going to get picked off. Lip make his return, looking to catch up here to Fitz with that tack visor. And he's doing a damn good job of it now as Creative will go down. The bot's going to start pushing for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, and they'll take a lead.
Good individual outplay there by Flitter as well. He dodges the sleep dart from Creative via the shift, and well, now they'll be able to push on further forward after getting a number of kills that are unresponded to, and that's even with Seoul coming up to ultimates slightly faster. Lip should be able to catch up now to Fitz. Namino Visor on both ends will be pretty scary. I mean, as Flitter gets toward Death Blossom as well, we saw what Alpha Yi did last time is in the previous matchup, looking for those flanks to get those Death Blossoms in. Unless Vindham Creative can shut it down, it will be pretty deadly.
Nano going to be used. Fitz now charging forward with the attack visor pop. Does get antied, but he still manages to pursue deep enough to come up with 3 kills, and somehow he does not die. Fitz and Profit will clean it up. 4 kills here for the Soldier 76. Profit getting void as the team wiped out as the bot, shipping back across the opposite side of the map. Now we'll see how far they can go, though. Need 26 meters to try to match.
Oh, extremely well protected Fitz was, and a note as well, Lip didn't actually pop his visor, so didn't feel confident challenging. Lijiang was 99%, I believe, towards Sound Barrier, so couldn't counter that one either. Profit just saw briefly there was on the back lines, and Shanghai have noted that but can't do anything against Profit right now. They just want to prevent the Seoul Dynasty from being able to get the checkpoint. They have the ultimates to do so.
Damage flying out. Profit looking for another pulse bomb. Almost has that built up as we will hear the visor getting popped there by Lip. He's getting quite a bit of damage in return, though. Not finding too many targets, so won't be able to find any kills. Grab comes down. I believe it's a solo on the Fitz, who has so far been kept alive. Flooded goes into the back line with the Death Blossom. Finally will finish him off, but it's the cost of Izayaki. But though, helping them trade up will find Smurf. Vindham again finding a nice little kill. Fleta will fall. The bot is going to be shifted away, and Profit, yeah, gets taken down. Nice shots to Flip. Find the elimination. Will get eliminated by Creative in the end, but Creative is going to be staggered as the bot is getting closer and closer to being able to push yet again here for the side of Shanghai.
That martyrdom kill from Creative onto Lip will actually put a bit of pressure on the Dragons, though, because they don't now have that soldier in the front lines already dealing some damage, waiting for Lip to come back in, so it's not going to be a clean re-push from the Dragons just yet. So far, Kilos, this has been the game of resets and, well, rather disengages, because you have Dragons throwing all ultimates in, Seoul disengaged, they re-engage with their own ultimates, Dragons do the same thing, and they end up winning the fight.
Profit again looking for the pulse bomb, but again not going to find anything. Comes up shy there of the mark. Can't get the elimination, so he's seeking. A Creative and Smurf going to get dropped. Fitz and Profit just taking the bot forward as much as they possibly can. They'll get close to tying it up, but eventually have to make their exits. At least keep the bot away from the pushing side here.
That is actually huge, because Profit kind of denying the bot movement and also just sneaking the payload away and resetting it means that Seoul will have another fight coming in, and that's huge. So now you see it, the bot's back to where it was when Shanghai won the fight, except they've made 0 progress. Seoul Dynasty get a very well-timed fight. Shanghai lead by only the 2 meters at the moment.
Oh, he tries to use the prediction there off the Helix Rockets. Cannot, but he doesn't have the attack visor available, but there's no support for him. Manages to, at least to help set up the kills onto the enemy support. Smurf now falling low, trying to retreat, keep himself at arm's length from Fleta. Manages to stay alive, but Vindham now is going to get dropped. So 1 support out of the fight here for the side of the Dynasty as they try to win out this fight. Bot shifting back here in Dynasty's favor, as Void will just go ahead and grab it up for themselves yet again.
3 minutes now remaining. No team's taken any sort of serious lead. It's rare that you see a game being so close that 36 meters is currently the maximum lead that we do have, with Fitz over Lip in this particular fight. So Dynasty looking at another 5v4. There's been no ultimate response so far by Dragons, so they'll be looking for a reset here, especially so with Fleta down.
Yeah, Profit with a nice kill. And a Void now quite far forward. It's going to end up getting dropped. It's going to be a reset on his energy. Still going to be 20% away or so from that Graviton Surge. Bot moving up. They should be able to get some distance and take the lead here, should the Seoul Dynasty. Just about how far can they go is the question.
It's the Void kill. I think that made the difference there. Void, unfortunately, not fast enough to get away. It's a Zarya, not a Winston. Can't leap.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a late contest coming through from the Dragons. And like you said, reset energy on the Zarya really does hurt. Although I don't think Void's really had a lot of energy anyway. You're mostly using the bubbles to enable Fleta and Lip. You'd love to also do some of your own damage, as most of the ultimates are online now for the Dragons. They have to be looking for a fight with here, or at least make it costly for Seoul.
Yeah, if you can have that triple threat, it would be huge. Fleta, though, being one of them, goes ahead, drops the Death Blossom, will find Fitz. Takes him out of the equation pretty early on here as Lip spotting Venheim up here on the high ground narrowly. This is the opportunity to get that elimination, so Venheim will live the fight another day. But for now, the Dynasty, they're kind of contented there. They say, okay, let's pull back, let's reset. We've got the lead, and let's just go ahead and fight them before they can contest the push again.
You can see how both teams are very concerned about economy here. Neither team wants to overcommit. Lib doesn't even pull out the visor, sees that there's not that many targets, to be fair. Sound barrier coming through from Lijiang. Does Vindane respond?
Okay, well, he has to. The Bionade connects on the 3 people, and the visor was there from Lip, so he goes ahead, drops the beat, puts the shielding out. Prophet finds Void. The grab has been used, but I don't see it anywhere. I'm not sure who he caught, if he caught anybody at all. Either way, it does not lead to any kills here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. The bot now being shipped yet again back across the Shanghai side of the map. Seoul Dynasty just maintaining control of this as we dip below a minute remaining.
It looked like Smurf maybe got caught in the grab there, as you'd expect. No solo grab onto the Winston is probably what you're going to get in the most of times. Smurf went down to 1, didn't actually die. And that's the critical thing. We didn't actually get a trade there. Void dies. Smurf does not. One ultimate still on the field here. It is Fitz. We're heading towards the OT, and I mean, it's not a big lead, but Seoul do have the lead. And as we saw in the previous game, you only need a little bit of a lead to actually get the win here, even over the smallest margins. And currently, Shanghai need to charge up something. They're way too far behind in economy.
Fleta making his exit, taking the Wraith form out there to safety. Fitz playing around the back. Deep long sight lines now as he looks for a target. This tac visor has had it for a considerable amount of time. In the meantime, Izayaki has managed to get the nano boost available now. Fleta finds Smurf. Major pickoff, but Prophet could undo that with this pulse bomb if you can actually get a stick to come through. But instead, Dynasty just going to wrap back around over to contest this push where they go into overtime.
Should be one
Shanghai
final
Dragons
fight.
have to keep this moving.
Yeah, there'll be one final fight here. Good move by Seoul Dynasty not to contest early.
The stick!
Beautiful stick by Prophet.
Yep, Lip out of the fight. They couldn't get a bubble on him. He was not playing within line of sight there of Void, so couldn't try to keep the soldier in the mix of things. That's going to delay the attack visor here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons, but now it's going to be the visor out from Fitz, looking for a target. Flooded just going to be dancing around in Wraith form. They shove them away from the bot, at least for now. Now they come in with a recontest. The Blossom nearly there, as you say. Flooded just 5% away from this one. Lijiang nearly has a beat as well. There are no ultimates to work with for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. They have to just try to win this out naturally. But Venheim is going to be the first one to fall. Now the sound barrier dropped in from Lijiang. Flooded again, ready to pull the trigger on this ult at any given moment. 2 meters left to go. Smurf playing forward. He's trying to get the Primal Rage. He dives into the back. He's just a couple % away, but he cannot get it. The bot again inching forward. His Prophet is the one contesting, but now he has gotten dropped. The bot is going to move in. And the Dragons will make it happen. They push through. They managed to make it happen here in overtime yet again on New Queen Street. And we are not done yet. We keep going.
That came down as such tight margin. Literal 2v2, by the way. Even towards the end there. Wasn't entirely sure. Was it Dragons that stepped off? Was it Seoul that couldn't contest? Indeed, it was Seoul that could not contest. Dragons, they nailed it. And I don't even think we end up seeing the Death Blossom just hiding that trump card up the sleeve the entire way through.
Use it at the end to celebrate.
Using it to finish. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a celebration, Death Blossom at the end, because you didn't need it. Lip, finish things off. And this is what I'm talking about, where Seoul Dynasty, 5 versus 4. Pulse bomb onto Lip in the final fight. The most important member of the Dragons, the highest damage dealing member, easily probably the best player on that team, and maybe across both teams, taken down straight away. It's not any just 5v4, it's a 5v4 with the best player gone. And still the Dragons clutch that one out. So when I say Dragons are winning when they're losing, that's what I'm talking about. They're down members, they should be losing fights, and yet they still clutch. That kill to Smurf was everything that Dragons needed to turn things around.
And again, it just reaffirms why it's so frustrating to see them not be able to contest that card on Route 66, because they can pull rabbits out of their hat. They can make these fights go their way when it seems like the deck is stacked against them. But they had those ults on the way. They crucially build them up during the fight. It buys them enough time, and even with that 2v2 there at the end, deny Smurf from buying enough time, from staying alive long enough to get the Primal. Because I think if Smurf gets that Primal up, obviously the longer the overtime goes, the faster it's going to drop. He can just beat and bat them away from that bot. They don't give him the opportunity to do so. So the Shanghai Dragons, they keep moving forward. It was always fated to go to Game 5 here, as we are in a tournament now, and it's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. Seoul Dynasty, they have their map pick here for the end. Control, it looks like it's going to be Lijiang Tower. So that's coming up in just a few minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere, because this ending is bound to be explosive. And we are back. It seems like these teams were fated to go to Game 5. The road that we took to get here was a little bit different than what the Nav said, but it's okay. We're arriving at our destination. Lijiang Tower to decide it. Oh, yeah, we took the scenic road. We took some back roads. There was no signs. We weren't sure if we were going the right direction, but we got there in the end. Lijiang Tower to decide it all between these two squads, guys. Whichever team you're cheering for, whether it's the Dragons, the Dynasty, or if you don't have a horse in this race, if you just want to cheer for somebody, give them your energy in the chat. Because both teams need it right now. But yes, we as viewers, no matter what, win in this scenario, no matter who you're backing here, because this is some entertaining action between these two squads, vying for a spot to play against Fusion in the next round of the tournament.
My goodness, I mean, wasn't that push map of New Queen Street, I think, is the most quintessential Dragons we refuse to lose map I think I've seen so far this season. We've seen some Dragons refusing to lose moments, but that is by far it. They had no business winning that last fight. Seriously.
That and the Icon Vault 0.05 contest. Those are the two for sure.
Oh, that was okay. Maybe that. And it happens against Seoul. It's always against Seoul. What's going on here?
Yeah,
Seoul
they just refuse to lose, unless it's Route 66, in which they choose to lose. But again, we don't talk about Route 66. I'm breaking my own rules.
I choose that narrative. Maybe, look, I don't know. Whatever. I heavily doubt they were going to win Route 66 from that far behind, but we're way past that now. Seoul deserved that win. They play phenomenally better. A and B was solid from them. They got the cap. Whatever. I was about to say Lijiang Tower, but really it is Lijiang Tower. We're going to Lijiang Tower. That's Dynasty's choice as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Which interests me greatly.
This is a bold one, because we have seen him and the rest of the team just completely take over this map, but again, one of those things where Dynasty probably thinking, like, we know your playstyle on this map, we know what to anticipate from you, and we think that we can outdo it. We'll find out as we do get loaded up into this 5th and final game. Control Lijiang Tower to decide it all. And it looks like we're going to be kicking things off on Gardens this time around, as opposed to Garden on Oasis.
See, that's the difference, right? You can call sub-maps the same thing, but the extra plural there just makes all the difference, so...
It does. You know, just like how a lot of people say Command Center instead of Control Center. It's Control Center. Learn it. Learn your map names, fools.
Command Center is that thing that we had on the other streaming platform back in the day, where you get to see the different POVs in the top down.
It's true.
But, you know, maybe one day we'll get the Control Centers. How about the night markets? It's like more than one market. No one's home during those night markets anyway. It's day market now. Let's see what compositions we're going to get. So Fate's back in. Huayu's back in. Genji, Winston, Dive, pretty standard. I think the thing that will interest me the most is when we get to Control Center. If we get to Control Center, if it is the next map or not. Do we stay on the Winston? Are we going to the Ryan? Because I think Fate's kind of shown that. Smith's shown a little bit of that. We're not going to find that out just yet. The other thing that's quite interesting is that other teams would probably offer to maybe go Echo here. These two teams not playing Echo. None of that.
Yeah, Fate, okay, yeah, he's just dead. He leapt in. There was no peel whatsoever. No healing for him. And he ends up dying. Smurf will get traded on the back end, but yeah, Vancouver with a nice boop finds a 3rd kill as they chase forward to get Izayaki for a 4th. So very much handedly winning the initial fight yet again here on Control are the Seoul Dynasty. This will be nice for them to go ahead and lock down the point first and foremost. We'll see how the Dragons pilot the re-attack.
There's a great shutdown coming through, right? I mean, you get Fate down, you knock Lip off the map as well. It's exactly what you need. Shanghai Dragons now looking for White Room control, as we'll just kind of flip the sides of the map in terms of who's got what. No one's really got a major lead in terms of ultimate charge yet. I mean, maybe Fitz over Lip, but Lip will surely catch up in a hot minute. No one's close to an ult, as tanks are taking a bunch of damage.
Dive into the back yet again. Fate getting chunked out, makes his exit this time as Who Are You just plays forward, spamming out these right clicks looking for a target. Vinheim trying to take him off the side of the map, is unable to do so. He's still under fire, and he narrowly grabs the edge. Got the dash.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, playing on the slimmest of margins. Walking the tightrope there is Who Are You, but he manages to get his balance back. Prompt in the meantime to build up a pulse bomb, and he puts it right into Fate's mouth. It detonates, he goes down. Izayaki now out of the fight. It seems like the Dynasty, despite losing the point there for just a moment, and the Dragons taking the lead, will just regain it.
It also Dragons split their sort of focus as well, right? You see Who Are You going towards the dojo, the rest of the Dragons still playing around White Room. So as long as you keep Who Are You out of the fight, who had to use cooldowns, double jumps, wall climb just to keep himself alive from running off the map, the rest of Seoul Dynasty can focus on the Dragons still kind of caught, coming on towards the point. Lip once again can't find enough value. Ultimate's coming online first for the Seoul Dynasty. Prophet with a stick as well. Everything going the way of the Seoul Dynasty so far.
There it is, jumping to the back line. Nano now going to be thrown onto Fitz. He's going to pop the tack visors, looking for some targets here. So far hasn't found too much. Lip's going to pop his own visor. The Nano to go with it, but now he's going to be shielded up by that sound barrier from Lijiang, who pulled the trigger second, crucially.
Yep.
And that second beat often leads to success. You get the eliminations flying in. Smurf not going to last too much longer. And the flip will be there for the Dragons in just a moment. Prophet goes forward, looking to delay as much as he possibly can. Pops the recall, makes his exit, and the flip will come through. 68% now established for the side of the Dynasty.
And you're right, it's the slightly delayed ultimates coming through from the Dragons that actually made the difference. The slightly later sound bear from Lijiang absolutely making a huge difference, but Fate also had the primal, Smurf didn't. Smurf dies on 100, but his team was already gone by that point.
Oh, okay, who are you going in? Pops the blade, but was instantly anti, and the focus fire is going to be great there from the side of the Dynasty. They only lose out on creative. They pick up 2 kills. Now they go back up at the point, look to contest this, look to get the flip, and maintain their lead. Prophet on the hunt, looking for another target that he can put this pulse bomb onto. He's also quite low. Rotates around the back, sees Who Are You, takes him dangerously low. And now with Lip falling, Who Are You again going to be pressured out. They can finally flip this back into their favor now, 70%. Back in control, back in the lead,
You need to go
ticking
back.
up.
Need to see Genji again. I don't think this is going to be good for Who Are You at all. He's not nearly as known for his Tracer as he is for his Genji. Also playing into Prophet's wheelhouse here in terms of who the better Tracer is historically. So not a good matchup, I think, in terms of individual output there. But that's the bid that currently Dragons are making it as final fight territory anyway. Dragons do not have ultimates compared to where Seoul are. If Seoul don't flub this one, they should be able to get the point.
Ticking up, 5% left to go now as we get ready to go into OT. Not going to be able to get the stick. Doesn't get too much damage on the Izayaki as well. Fate playing forward. Smurf going to be taking a nap in the back line with a Primal Rage pop. Now wakes up, turns his sights back over onto the members of the Dragons. And Fate will fall, as does Lip. The cleanup is coming through, and yeah, they have it in hand. Lijiang taken down. A celebratory sound barrier here from Vintame as it's 100% to 60. The first round of Gardens going the way of the Dynasty. Just need one more.
And what you're also seeing here stat-wise as well is that Fitz is actually performing above Lip now. I think for most of the series, Lip stats has looked above Fitz, even in cases, well, maybe minus the Route 66, we'll forget about that one, but the only other maps, Lip had been either competitive or above Fitz, and now, you know, on this Lijiang Tower so far, on that Gardens map, Seoul Dynasty, they had the initial cap, they won the initial fight, Fate down early, Lip moved off the map, and it didn't feel like Seoul Dynasty were ever out of control. Even when they let the cap go for brief moments, they never really lost too much control there. There was like one good fight win from Dragons with a later sound barrier coming through from Lijiang, but aside from that, Dragons were behind on basically everything else. And great dives from Smurf and Prophet overall. It's that Smurf, Winston, Prophet, Tracer that's been so deadly.
Izayaki off the opener here, taking quite a bit of damage. Taking back up the full HP though. These Dragons for now occupying the point. Looks like Prophet going on a bit of a right-hand flank there. Lip going to be looking to do the same on the opposite side. Rotates around. The pack is there for him to play off of, but instead will pull back, throws down the biofield. Keep himself sustained, get himself some additional ult percentage, but Fitz finds a narrow window of opportunity there. Spots Izayaki, gets the elimination. The healing rockets go flying. Fitz will manage to come up with another kill. Lip now going to be taken out of the fray. Lijiang still alive though, and yeah, they're losing members though. Now they don't have their front line, so Lijiang is going to have to make his exit. Who Are You still trying to play forward? Takes the dash out to the side, sliver of HP remaining on him and Lijiang, but they will survive for a little bit longer. But yet again, the Dynasty get the cap first and foremost.
Yeah, slim margins there, but it comes down to Fitz getting the opening kill. A couple of trades that come back the way from Dragons with Lip down early again. I mean, Seoul have been so good at shutting down Lip now on this last map.
The ult charge.
It's a huge difference, yeah. Fitz has not only had better stats so far than Lip, but Lip's also just been shut down by multiple players.
Yeah. Well, it's a good pick-off on the Smurf, though. Playing a little too close there to the spawn room of the Shanghai Dragons. Ends up getting isolated and taken down. Window of opportunity, perhaps, for them as Prophet. Not going to be able to get the stick. Just another one. One characteristic here today from him with those ultimates, but otherwise his damage output on the Tracer has been looking good. Then him going to be eliminated. Who Are You find the pick-off as Prophet looks for another target, but he himself is operating with a very low amount of HP.
Coming.
Another push-up over the top. Who Are You going for the flank. The Nano's going to go out. Fitz popping the attack visor, but the focus fire is just too damn good from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They don't even visor in response. It's just the Nano from Izayaki. Lip finds that elimination, and now they find the flip.
And that's the kind of situation where Seoul are trying to be the clutch team themselves. They're saying, okay, we're in a losing spot here. We're 2 players down. Once Prophet dies, that's when you have to decide, Seoul, is this really still worth popping into? Because Smurf is on his way out as well. Fitz goes for the nano visor but dies instantly. Smurf couldn't primal in that last fight because he didn't have it. Now he does just a primal, but Shanghai don't really care, so this is going to be a primal for nothing.
Izayaki might care, though. He gets juggled around, gets set up, Fitz scoops the kill, but now the blade comes out from Who Are You, and he's looking for a little bit more. Gets one. Looks like the blade just going to be resheathed. The flip did come through in the meantime, through all the chaos. Dragons did lose control, but they're flipping it right back into their favor here in just a moment. Who Are You? Looking for a health pack. Can't find one. Vinham going to drop the beat. That's only on the 2. It's him himself and Smurf, and Smurf has been focus fired to hell and back. It's absolutely destroyed.
Saving visor.
And the point still being held here, and Lip still holding onto this visor, just has not felt the need to pop it. Continues to fall low. Fitz gets on top of him, but as the kill comes through, Fitz himself does die. They managed to hold it up to 75%, so overall not too bad here from the side of the Dynasty, but Health economy looking a bit healthier there on the side of the Dragons.
Well, that's because Dragons are trying to play like a tighter economic game. You see Lib there holding onto Visor the whole time. He'll even die but won't use the Visors just because they know they have the confidence to win that. Who Are You really thriving in chaotic moments on that point? He was as low as 50 HP, couldn't find the health pack, but still comes in and gets kills. Prophet actually accidentally kills Lijiang. That was on debate.
Yeah, I think he just dove a little too close to the Lucio there, but he'll be more than happy to get that elimination. Fate popping the Primal in response, obviously there. Now has that out of the fight. Tac Visor going to be popped. Prophet trying to play elusively. Breaks line of sight just in time to avoid the line share of this Visor. Ends up dying to Lijiang though, so cannot stay in the fight. And now with Smurf falling yet again, it's going to have to be a reset for the side of the Dynasty, you would expect. Bionade goes out onto Liv. Creative managing to weave that one through, but it's going to be the Dragons now taking the lead. Creative going to be taken down. Vinham with a sliver of HP, trying to survive, trying to play around the back point. Will have to make his exit, and he does so, but we're getting into final fight territory here for the Dragons.
Yes. It's a lot of staggered deaths as well, right? Because you have Seoul Dynasty still trying to hold on, maybe contest. Players not going down there until quite late. Fitz still has a Visor available. Nano's coming online. They desperately need this Nano Visor to work. In fact, Fitz might just have to go for this before the Nano's available. There's no time. Someone has to touch.
Yeah, first they gotta get the touch, and they will manage to make it happen. Fitz falling low, and he's gonna be eliminated. Lijiang comes around the corner like a bit of a jump scare, gets the kill. The point being flipped now. Lijiang makes his way over, but he cannot deny that from coming through, so for now the Dynasty are in control. That buys them a crucial amount of time, but Smurf is gonna be dead. He cannot pop the Primal. He dies instantly. Now they dive in on top of Creative. I thought they finished him off there for just a moment, but now they will get the kills. Vinham is taken down. It's Fitz and Prophet, the only ones alive, but can anyone touch the point? Fitz is the closest one. No, Prophet is. Comes in from the back lines, manages to get that tag. Visor's out. Fitz trying to buy some time, trying to find some targets. Falls low, ends up dying to his own Helix rocket. The pulse bomb from beyond the grave. Prophet will find Limp. Smurf returns. Primal Rage rolling. Gets his Izayaki. The blade is here from Who Are You. He's not going to be able to find a damn thing. Now he's looking for Creative. Can they actually make this work? The dash is still available.
They got a beat.
Gets himself back up onto the high ground. And yeah, they have a beat available, but do they even need it? Flip starting to come through. They win out the fight. The Dynasty managed to clutch it.
A huge clutch coming on through. Both Creative and Vindane dead. That was what Shanghai needed to win. They got rid of the Nano, they got rid of the beat, but they stalled long enough. They being Seoul Dynasty, Prophet coming in a touch, that Creative still gets a Nano. He had nothing else to use. He purposely nanoed Vindane because he was the only target.
Now the beat is in. Lip got taken down upon entry. The Tac Visor not going to be in the fight. They need to try to buy some time here for him to rejoin. Smurf going to be taking a nap. Fate pops the Primal Rage, but he's going low. The beat comes in from Lijiang. They keep him alive. Lip now back alive, sprinting over towards the point. The Nano going to be used on the Fate to try to keep him in the fight. Smurf finding his Izayaki, but Creative and Fitz have both been taken out of the fight now. 3 members left. Smurf falling lower and lower, ends up going down. It's all on Vinham and Prophet. And I don't know if they are going to be able to play forward onto the point. They have to surrender the touch. The flip goes in, Prophet plays forward, but then gets back in, dashes onto the point. He's trying to play loose, he's trying to play elusive, but they manage to get the eliminations, and Vinham is going to be taken down by Lijiang. And despite the wonderful clutch from the Dynasty to be able to take it to 99, to nearly win it out, the Shanghai Dragons, they buckle down, they wait. Lip dies, doesn't matter. They get the Nano onto Fate, they buy time, he comes back in, they close it out. 1 more round to go.
That was insane. Clutch from both ends. It's literally Seoul clutching and then Shanghai clutching on the opposite end. Seoul, Nano, Boostio. Again, a purposely used... That's, I think, the first, like, real time that you actually Boostio and you win and you do it on purpose. That's not like, whoops, I messed up my Nano. That wasn't meant to go to Lucio. No, he was meant to put the Nano into Vindane. Because Vindane was like the only target there, and they won off that. But then Dragons come back, Lijiang finds the beat, Izayaki finds the Nano, and they get it done. I also, by the way, teased the fact that maybe you could see a Rhino on this map, and Fate's bringing it out.
That he is. Who are you as well? Going to be going over to the May, something that's a bit more in his wheelhouse compared to the Tracer. Let's see if this is going to be enough, though, for the Dragons. Everything to play for right here in this final round as we do go into Control Center on Lijiang Tower. Profit back over onto the Genji. Fitz sticking with the Soldier 76, and Lip stays with the Symmetra.
Symmetra's probably the one here you don't even need here. I mean, you can TP into the other side, but Reaper will probably help you out a little bit more. Fitz down, low, and the lamp will save the rest of the Dragons.
Getting isolated and melted. Immortality Field taken out. They will find Lip off the back end of that one, but now Profit just locked up, slowed, taken out by Who Are You, who's going to boost up onto the high ground. Look to contest him, gets him in the head mid-air. And it's a gorgeous look for the side of the Dragons to kick things off. They get the first cap.
And there's the Reaper swap now coming through from Lip. They're definitely much better into the matchup that we have on hand. Question will be, how does Seoul Dynasty want to respond? No changes just yet. They need to land perfect. Bio nades coming through from Creative, but with 2 players down, I mean, this fight's a wash.
Yep, now they have the pin. They're on a Profit. They're just pushing forward out into the spawn room. Smurf's got nowhere to go. He's going to die. It's extra stagger found. The wall up to block Creative from getting himself to safety. And Dragons are making this point completely unassailable for the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
They're exactly where they want to be, right? Because Dragons, they win a couple of fights in a row. They're now first ultimate. It's really easy to build these windows up as well on this composition. Window just comes straight out.
That it does. Buy as much time, keep them zoned out. Profit having the dash out. Breaks line of sight to stay safe. Blizzard, though, is available now for Who Are You.
They split up. I mean, they actually split off the Fate Ryan currently, so they need to regroup as 5 and find a fight with this Blizzard because they come out to ultimates that much quicker than where Seoul currently are. So we can see this one being dragged out quite significantly for the Dragons in terms of percentage points.
Fitz on the flank, Venom on the wall, but he ends up just getting swatted. Fitz dies as well on the back end of that. It's just more time bought here for the side of the Dragons, and they don't really have to expend too much for it. Who Are You says, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and use this Blizzard. We're winning so handedly. I'll just pop this, build another one if I need to. It's 75% now here for the Dragons.
But I think they won the fight anyway. The problem with using the Blizzard here is you actually need to use the Blizzard as an alternate way to counter the Nano Blade. Yes, they do have a sound barrier, but you also need the sound barrier to get rid of the visor and counter the visor, right? The Blizzard is one of those perfect ultimates that puts Smurf and Profit in a weird spot. We are heading towards 90% now. The Shatter is the make or break. If we can land the Shatter for Dragons, they will have the map.
Well, first is going to be the Primal, opened up from Smurf. Vindhame is dead. Who Are You gets the elimination. This barrier was just 1% away. Now the barrier comes in from Lijiang, denying the blade from finding much value. Visor popped, the Shatter, it hits Fitz, and oh my god, it's a catastrophe. It's at 99%. Fitz is eliminated, Creative is gone. Smurf manages to find Who Are You, but they need so much more than that. I don't know if they're going to be able to find it. The beat comes in from Vindhame. It's only onto him and Smurf, and they are both going to die. Vindhame trying to juggle around the center point of the map, but he cannot do it. They bring out the Rhine. We weren't sure if we were going to see it, and they absolutely pilot it to success. Unfortunately, a bit of a lackluster way to close out what was an incredibly close series, an incredibly close Lijiang Tower. But in the end, the Dynasty put their foot down. They say, no more shenanigans. We win here.
Yeah, the Dragons coming on through. And the reason why I talked about the Rhine composition is because I think it is a serious threat on Control Center. Always has been, says the astronaut to the other astronaut with a gun. But at this point, I mean, yeah, the Rhine is seriously, like, you can see the kind of value, especially when it's kind of like, you know, a surprise pick as well. I'm not too sure if Seoul Dynasty expected it. I'm not too sure if Smurf expected it, but they see it. It's hard for them to play around it. They're not too sure exactly what they're doing there. Who Are You also doing huge damage? That was something that was a bit unexpected because, you know, you don't really think about Who Are You as like this insane May player, right? He's this Genji guy. He's played a bit of Trace in the past. I would actually say Doomfist is his other like signature here that he showed in the past, but the May comes in through huge damage, great picks. He's the one that actually kills Vindhame at the end as well with the right click, right? So we deny the sound barrier in the final fight, which is probably the last tool that Seoul Dynasty need to make that comeback happen. The solo shatter onto Fitz just denies the visor, so they end up surviving against everything. And that's even with the extra Blizzard being thrown in, which I thought was a little greedy, but got them towards the 99 anyway. So, yeah, I mean, Dragons very intelligently brought out the Rhine to throw off the Dynasty. It works, and someone out there in North America, Hardy's smiling.
That he is. I mean, good lord. It just seemed like they had no experience playing against us, or no way to kind of counter-strat it, or just even get out of the spawn room. Just at every twist and turn, they were consistently shut down, consistently locked out. I mean, Dynasty looking like they want to maybe open up some scrim blocks, playing some ping, and practice against the London Spitfire perhaps, because they got rolled by the Rhine Comp here in the last round. And that's going to be a bit of a heartbreaker there for the Dynasty fans watching, hoping for that win. They got so damn close, but they just can't quite make it happen there in the end. But it's still an incredible showing from both of these teams in the end. This was the 5-game series that we were hoping for. Maybe not quite as close as we were expecting on Control Center, but still really happy that we got to go through this and that it did not disappoint.
Yeah, that was just... What a great showing, and even with the throw in the middle there from Dragons, we can talk about the scene. I mean, even the Midtown, to be honest with you, was a little bit tragic for the Dragons side of things. But player of the game, outside of that one Route 66 incident, is going to be Lip, who severely, I think, outperformed everybody at various junctures. I think he started to, maybe on Lijiang Tower, not quite diff his opponents as much. I did note that Fitz was not only on par, but actually ahead of Lip. But for most of the early maps in the series, Lip was unbelievable. He was more than deadlifting at various points. I think I dropped a stat line somewhere on one of the early maps where Lip was like 8 out of 11 final blows at one point, and he still finished with, I can't remember if he actually deadlifted at the finish line or not, but his output was unreal. Had more than 11k damage per 10 at various points during the series when Fitz couldn't quite even achieve 10 himself. He was hovering around 9. So 56,962 damage done with a tiny smattering of the Reaper and the Sim at the end. But otherwise, man, dude was just playing this guy the entire way through. 104 eliminations, just by the way.
Yeah, 104 eliminations. Half of those are his own final blows. And he got 47 Helix Rocket kills. Utterly incredible from the side of Lip. I mean, it seemed like the Dynasty finally kind of started figuring out, like, oh, if we kill Lip, we can probably win the fight. That didn't quite happen for them as much, near the end there on Lijiang Tower, that night market. They get that early pick. That allows them to get that one clutch moment, but then as soon as Lip arrives, he still has the visor. They're able to clean it up from there. It seems like they finally really got the targeting down onto the members of the Shanghai Dragons, but just wasn't quite enough. Lip's presence was definitely felt the whole way throughout. But here is our bracket as it lays after our first day here at the Kickoff Clash. We've got 2 more matches, of course, coming up tomorrow, and then 2 more on Sunday to see who is going to be the Kickoff Clash champion. But, Fusion versus Dragons. Fusion looking great. You've got rookie status, Zest there on the Genji looking utterly incredible, as well as when he goes over to the Tracer, going up against an absolute Genji legend of Who Are You? And then, of course, we get the rematch of the Hangzhou Spark versus the Seoul Dynasty. The first series that they played against each other, it was the Spark walking away victorious, allowing them to get that higher seed, setting themselves up to be in that #1 position going into the tournament. Now they find themselves down in the lower bracket.
It's going to be an evening of firsts, isn't it? Because Fusion versus Dragons was our very first opening match of the season for all of APAC, and Hangzhou and Dynasty, that was their first game against each other as well. There's going to be plenty of runbacks, some salty runbacks happening for those teams. Dragons are now looking unbelievably good compared to where they were when they lost against Fusion. I'm not saying Dragons are perfect by any means. Don't forget, they still had some wacky moments in today's series. I think it actually does speak well to Seoul, though, because we now look at Seoul under a different light. I knew Seoul was always going to be good, but I'm worried for Spark now because Seoul looked damn good by taking Dragons that far.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, what an incredible day it's been. An exhausting one. It's only 2 matches, and feels like we just kind of ran a gauntlet right there with how deep these series went, with how many back and forths there were, especially between the Dynasty and the Shanghai Dragons. Many highs, many lows, but also plenty to get prepared for come tomorrow, because especially for the side of Fusion, or for Hangzhou and the Seoul Dynasty, you can't afford to lose anything else. You need to win out from here if you want to ride that loser's bracket all the way into the grand final and become the Kickoff Clash champions. We'll see who's going to be able to make it happen. We'll see who gets eliminated, who gets auto-seeded into that grand final tomorrow when we do return. But guys, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, NA is going to be coming up in a couple of hours. I say a couple of hours. It's more like 6. But set your alarms, take a little nap, wake up, watch those games, and then when you need some eye bleach and you need to see some real comps, you need to see some real high-level play, we'll be here for you in about 24 hours. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.